Mothership RPG is a sci-fi horror game played by adults and contains content intended for a mature audience. The game addresses dark and difficult themes that may be uncomfortable or upsetting to some viewers, including, but not limited to, violence, gore, strong language, body horror, drug and alcohol use, loss of autonomy, and sexual content. The game also contains depictions of mental illness, trauma, stress, and panic that may not be suitable for all audiences. Our players have discussed their zones of comfort at length, and we have safety tools at our disposal. Please use caution when viewing, and be sure to take a break from the game if you feel the need.
Hello everybody, my name's Dave, the guy who pushes buttons until something works around here. Welcome to the Superior Adventures Guild. We are diving back into another game of Mothership RPG. This is a game that is played by adults, contains content designed and intended for a mature audience. So I want to make sure that folks are aware. The game addresses dark and difficult themes that may be uncomfortable or upsetting to some viewers, including but not limited to violence, gore, strong language, body horror, drug and alcohol use, loss of autonomy, and sexual content. The game also contains depictions of mental illness, trauma, stress, and panic that may not be suitable for all audiences. And our players have discussed their zones of comfort relative to all of these topics, and we have safety tools at our disposal. Please, yourselves, folks who are in the chat, use caution and discretion while viewing. Make sure you take a break if you need to. We encourage you to care for yourself during the game. I also want to raise your attention that there are some stream overlays with flashing light effects, so that could be triggering to viewers with photosensitivity. So just be aware of that as well. We have a great game lined up for our players and for the folks in the chat tonight. So really excited to dive into it. I want to introduce you to my friends here, the ones who make this game so darn special. And here they are. Say hello, my friends.
Hello.
Welcome in, everybody. We are going to go quickly into some introductions. We'll go around this virtual tabletop, do an introduction. And one of the things that Mothership RPG has embedded in the mechanics is a trinket that is rolled up when my friends here created their characters. And if you saw the last 2 weeks ago episode, you will remember that some of them engaged and interacted with their trinket. We have a homebrew rule that when they do so, they get to reduce their stress by 1 point, and that can take place once per game. So the trinket is kind of an important piece of the character identity and background. So what I want to do is, as we go around the table here, my friends, just mention what your trinket is and how that is important to your character. So let's tonight start with Rachel.
Hi everyone, I'm Rachel. I also go by Arya Galaxy. Not sure if it's showing properly here yet, but it will soon. But I am a big fan of Guild Superior. I've been streaming with us for a little while. Super excited. Tonight I am playing Yael Misrai. She is a scientist in the Mothership game, that archetype. And she's got a pretty sassy way of approaching her fellow co-workers and colleagues. Basically, she's there to get stuff done and doesn't really care who she offends along the way. Yael has a small journal that she is constantly writing in when people piss her off. And she calls it her Journal of Grudges. And usually whenever she's feeling stressed or pissed off at someone, she writes down their name and what they did in no particular order. It can be anything as harsh as, somebody cut me in line for coffee, as somebody, got a promotion over me. And there's no order or method. It's just as it pops into her head, I'm mad at this person, I'm writing it down right away. So that is Yael, and super excited to play tonight. Hopefully we don't die.
Welcome back, Rachel. And I hope that I do not, even though I got the names wrong on the overlays, I hope that I don't end up in this Journal of Grudges. I'm doing my best. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Let's go jump over to Adrian. Welcome in, Adrian. Glad you're back. Thanks for being here.
Hello, good evening, everyone out there. My name is Adrian, known onto the internet on Twitter and Twitch as Sly Sparrow. And tonight I will be playing the pilot of the ship, and his name is Dmitry Borodin. And his particular outlook on life, he's always been a kind of a survivalist, always try to stay 1 or 2 steps ahead. He was an avid chess player as a child, and his particular trinket that he always keeps with him is something he found in his late sister's room. This particular trinket was addressed to him, and it was a birthday present for him that he found in her room after she passed. And that is because I used to always beat her at chess. She wanted something she could beat me with, and that was a Rubik's Cube. Now, but Dmitry uses the Rubik's Cube whenever he gets anxious or gets nervous, and he uses it to kind of guide his thoughts to try to find the next step. It's something that's very important to him, and he has kept it with him through all of his military experience. Every crash on any ship he has ever been on, he's always been able to walk away because he believes of this Rubik's Cube. It's one of his prized possessions, and let's hope it gives him luck tonight. And we shall see.
That's awesome. I love the storylines behind these items. So thank you so much. Let's jump over to Tim. Tim, welcome back, my friend.
Hey, I'm Tim. You can find me at Blackmore Flan on Twitter. I will be playing the mechanic who has a very long name, so let's just call him RT. I actually don't remember what his full name is because I erased it and just put RT. Which is fitting because he's kind of just a layabout, kind of lazy guy who is down on his luck and perpetually down on his luck. His trinket is a very retro spray can or can of spray paint that he has jury rigged to spray different colors in different settings and be refillable, and it's gradually formed to his hand out of the dent that he put in it when he hit his last guardians upside his head and knocked him out and ran away for the last time. And he uses it to spray a particular sentence to mark basically graffiti a place when he's feeling overwhelmed. And it says, "I can't fix stupid." It's just a simple phrase. And it's not, as some people might take it, as a snide remark by him. It's actually him reminding himself what he's been told his whole life by those who, quote unquote, raised him. And it's his kind of fight back against that relieves that stress.
And he's already tagged the place that you guys are in, so we're off to a
already
start.
tagged the cargo bay. There will be tags aplenty. Well, as many episodes as we have, there will be tags.
I love it. The little Easter eggs laying about this mining facility. I love that. That's great. Tim, glad you're back. Thank you so much. And last but not least, let's jump over to Kevran Games.
Hello there. Yes, I'm Kevin, found online at Kevran Games. So glad to be back tonight here on Guild Superior. I am returning as Corporal Hayes, and Hayes is a man who values duty and tradition and doing the right thing above all things. His special trinket item is actually very special to him as both a person and due to his lineage. It is a old prospecting mug that is made out of, at this point, old semi-rusted tin. It belonged to his great-great-grandfather, who actually was a miner in southern Colorado, where the family comes from. And as the story goes, when his grandfather became a miner in the specific mine that he worked for, there was a cave-in one day, and his great-great-grandfather proceeded to actually heroically get all of the other men out of the mine before he himself perished in said mine at the last moment. They were able to retrieve this prospecting mug, which rumored to be even older than that. It was something that he had passed down, and it has made his way to Hayes. And he values it, and he currently has it hanging on the back of his loadout gear. So it's visible and it looks kind of out of place with his very clean and put together stature and by the book nature. So
That's awesome. The lineage back to Colorado. I love that. We've got some connections there. Thank
Shout
you
out
all
Colorado.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I love it. This is great because we actually, this cast of players and myself, we're all in different locations across the United States. And that's the beauty of this medium of playing games is, we get to play together, and that just wouldn't be possible without this. So to me, that's the exciting part about this stuff. So thanks for all being part of it.
At least we're not in Canada like Bleak.
Yeah, we're not in Canada anymore. That's right. Shout out to our friends in Canada, because we know there's a bunch of y'all watching tonight. God save the king.
They don't have a king. What?
God save the Poutine.
Poutine.
Not Putin. That's something totally different.
Wow.
You took a very bad turn. Sorry.
We'll fix that in post.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Let me retract that.
They're both big countries in the northern hemisphere.
Wow.
So
leave it to Kevin to just tank the show.
That was it. That with all of the sponsors, with all of the viewers, all of the subscribers out of here.
That's right. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, okay. So first of all, I just want to say thank you again for being here. I want to say a couple of things. First of all, we have some ways where folks can get involved in the game. That's you, the chat crew, our chat buddies. There's an opportunity for you to cheer, to provide our cast with advantages. There's also an opportunity, if you have channel points, to use your channel points to influence whether or not there is a panic check, which is pretty intense. And everybody did an awesome job in the chat of utilizing those panic checks very judiciously and at perfect timing last week or 2 weeks ago. So that was perfect. So you can do that. And then every time we get a subscription or a resub, the whole party's stress levels will go down. Now, stress, if you look up in the corners, you can see that there is a ticker for the number of stress points that people have. That increases throughout the game, given things that happen in game, and including failed rolls, including tragic moments. And as that number goes up, it's going to be harder and harder for our party to succeed in a panic check. And when a panic check happens, that's when things can get really, really tough, because it will impose different conditions upon our players and their characters to work with in the game setting. So a couple of things to keep in mind. And I also want to quickly shout out to all the good friends that we have in Guild Superior over in the Discord. If you have not connected with Guild Superior, I encourage you to go check out the Discord. A lot of the folks, including the people that you see on screen here, met through the Discord and then eventually became friends and are now playing games together. So that's kind of how it works. Come on over and hang out with us. We'd love to see you over there. I think that's it. I have one more announcement. I'm gonna move over to the Warden screen here as I get into this. I'm gonna do a little recap for you guys. But I wanted to point to the corner up there. You can see the little GaryCon symbol on the stream. GaryCon is coming up, and this is the March to GaryCon. At the end of the month, I'll be going to GaryCon and celebrating a life well lived. I hope that that folks are aware of Gary Gygax and all that he did to bring Dungeons and Dragons to the world. But if you are going to be at GaryCon, I highly suggest you look me up. I'd love to connect with you. There'll be a bunch of other people that you'll recognize there from our gaming community. But it is a damn fun event. There's a link in the chat if you want to learn more about that. And we are big supporters and fans of that work. So come on over and hang out with us and go to GaryCon, because it's going to be fun. All right. So that said, my friends, I would like to give a little bit of a recap on what happened during our last game session. Now, we'll go back to the beginning. 2 days ago, roughly, right? Green Star Corporate Command had given a command to the Romulus 7, which is a cargo hauler freight ship that all of these people are crew members of. The command was directed to the captain, Hillary Block, who made a redirection of course to take the Romulus 7 to a mining outpost in sector N77. No justification was given, only the order and a reminder that the crew is under contract and a discussion. So it just kind of came down from corporate. The landing team, the folks that you see on the screen here, plus Lance Garcia, another one of the security detail who works closely with Corporal Hayes, dropped to the surface of a giant M-class asteroid. This is a metal-rich asteroid of considerable monetary value, and it's currently under the claim by a company called Sundian Holdings. Now, Corporate Command's little honeydew, a little side job, little redirect, hasn't been well received by the crew, the captain, and it's unclear why the ship's scientist, Yale, was specifically assigned to the landing team. Now, presumably corporate intends for the party to make contact with the facility's administrators, but the reason is unclear. Nevertheless, corporate cuts your checks, and for the most part, the crew is looking to get the job done, get paid, and get their asses home. It's never that easy, though. After nearly crashing into the asteroid's surface, the team, consisting of Yale Mizrahi, Ronan Tiernan, Corporal Kenneth Hayes, and Dmitry Borodin, and Lance Garcia, landed their cargo hauler to a cold welcome by the mining colony. In fact, there was no welcome at all. The lights were down. There was no ground crew to welcome you. So the team took the initiative to assess the damages to the ship, find a way to open the hangar doors, and to get the ship out of the elements. During this effort, the crew was stalked and attacked by a pack of some strange, weird terrestrial bug/plant-like creatures. This is space, guys. Managing to hobble the craft inside and shut the hangar doors before contact, but one of the creatures slipped inside. Through quick thinking by our mechanic, Ronan, and a dose of Mother Russia by Dmitry, the problem was solved pretty damn quick, and that was impressive. Once inside the facility, the team ran diagnostics on the facility systems, detected basic life support and grav systems intact, which is good. So you popped off your helmets and you started to explore, but immediately you began to hear a strange, unintelligible whisper, which seemed to affect Garcia the most. The rest of you sort of being able to shrug it off or kind of put it out of your focus. Garcia took it hard. Yale, you gained access to the mainframe, activated the illuminators overhead, which revealed a gruesome scene, to say the least. Pile of lifeless corpses, blood decorating the hallway. The doctor responded by racing forward to check for a pulse, at which point one of the corpses reached up and grabbed Yale by the hair, causing the doctor to recoil. And as a second corpse began to reach forward, and under Corporal Hayes' direct command, the party began to back away, turning to escape down a corridor. In the process, Dmitry saw movement out of the corner of his eye near the floor at an air vent. Distracted momentarily while the rest of the party continued to sort of not run, but quickly hurry down the corridor. This air vent opened to reveal a young girl who Dmitry saw as Nadia. The girl bid that he follow her to safety, and he did, without question. So that was our cliffhanger from last week, and now the party is separated. We're going to return to the story, and we're going to return specifically back to Dmitry. Dmitry, you follow awkwardly through the vents, trying to keep pace with this young girl, and as you do, it's dark in here. You can see that there are some sort of glowing circuitry and dim light. Perhaps at times you catch a glimpse of her turning the corner ahead of you, and you scramble forward on hands and knees through this vent system. You catch a glimpse as you round the corner of her again, kind of disappearing, and then you hear an echoing sound of her voice. Follow me, come, hurry to safety.
Nadia, wait! Rushing through. It does not just... I will not lose you again! No, stop! Yet!
Make a body, let's see. Actually, make a speed check as you are trying to keep pace with this girl. Remember, so with checks in this game, they have a target and they want to roll below that target. If they hit the target or go above, it's a failure.
$27. My body is 35.
Ah, yes, and your speed is much better than that even. So yes, you race forward and you catch up to the girl, and as you do, you look at her and she looks quite different now from what you had seen initially. It doesn't look like Nadia. It just looks like a young girl, and she turns to you as you kind of reach forward and kind of grab onto her clothing, perhaps. What is it? Where are your friends?
Just holding her shoulders and is like, where are you going? I would just try to bring her close. I haven't seen her in forever, and so I will hold who I think is my sister and embrace her very tightly. You are safe. You are safe. You are safe.
Let me go. She like tries to pull away from you. Let go of me.
Why do you pull away?
She pushes you away, and you look at her now.
You do not look like Nadia.
No, my name is Jennifer.
Oh.
What? Please, this place is not safe.
Oh, forgive me. I thought you were someone else. How long have you been here? Where are we?
We're on Tenebris 979. I live here with my family, my father, and my mother. They work here.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get back to the crew. We'll just go back. We are here. We are here to help you. We have just arrived. We are not your enemy. We want to make sure that you are safe and that you are okay. Does she look hurt at all? Like, is she like bleeding?
Hard to say. It's dark. It's dim here, so it's hard to say. She looks perhaps slightly like skinny, like maybe emaciated a little bit, but not sickly. Okay. If that helps.
Okay. All right.
Yes. That way, she points. I'll follow you.
No, please, you lead the way.
Okay.
I'll follow.
Hey, thanks for the raid, everybody. Solution, thank you so much for raiding in. Really appreciate you guys. And thanks for the heads up, Rachel. Awesome to see you guys. We are playing Mothership RPG, and the party's already split, so which is fun. So she starts, this girl, Jennifer, starts to move forward now in front of you, making her way down this winding corridor. And we'll pause there, and we'll go back to the rest of the party. So Corporal Hayes, the last thing that happened was you turned around and looked to see if everybody was there. You see that Dimitri's not there, and you said, "Where's Dimitri?"
Yes. I look around and I don't see him immediately. I turn back to the other two. Did you see where he went?
No.
Hayes will look to see where those dead people who are walking towards us are in proximity to the way we came from. If I can maybe go back to find where Dimitri is, go look for him.
Okay, so you're going to backtrack a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you turn around and you kind of push past your companions. Garcia's still kind of holding his head and a little bit disoriented.
I'll stop in front of him and I'll say, Garcia, do you have this? Are you all right? Can you handle this?
Hayes, I've got it.
I don't think he looks like he could handle him, piss pail right now.
Should we push forward, find a room that we can lock those things out?
Well, we need to find Dimitri. We just can't leave him back there with those things.
Yeah, but we can't really just stop.
We should stay together.
We're not leaving anybody behind. That's not how we do it here. Garcia, go with the doctor and go with RT. See if you can find a room and mark it somehow so that I know which one you're in if I lose contact on the radio.
Got it.
I'll just give RT a nod, and then I will turn and follow back towards the direction to get to where Dimitri is, and I'll do so with haste.
Okay. You take off, and Ronan and Yale, you're going to continue forward. Okay.
Yes.
We will
Try
come
to
back
find a
to you.
spot.
Okay, perfect. We'll come back to you in a second. Hayes, you head back the way you came, and you're rushing forward. You come around the corner and you look down, and you can see the lights, the illuminators over the head in this long hallway flickering as if they're sort of struggling to stay lit. You can see down, and you recall, because you were just there moments ago, that around the next corner is where the pile of bodies was located. But you also look down and you scan, and you can see as you're moving past it, there is the vent, the shield on the vent. The vent panel is like laying on the ground. You don't recall seeing that on the way through before.
Does it look like it's been like taken off, or something has pushed in through it?
You kind of kneel down to inspect it, and it does not look damaged. So it looks like it was probably taken off instead of like pushed or like, forcefully removed.
Absolutely. I am going to crouch down, and
There's
I'm going
Kasparov.
to, and I will look into the vent. Dimitri, I'll call down into it.
You hear your voice echo through the vent system, and Dimitri, you hear your name being called, but it's from a different direction from where the girl is leading you.
Do I recognize the voice?
I would say you might be likely to recognize it. At least you would be like, there's only certain people here who would know my name.
Right.
Yeah.
I will. Dimitri will like tug on the back of Jennifer's clothing, whether it's like a shirt or a vest, and be like, wait.
Oh.
Yeah. Dimitri will look towards where they met and where he left the vent. I hear someone calling my name.
Dimitri, it's Hayes. Can you hear me?
Hayes? We should go back. We should go back.
As you say that, you feel the weightlessness of the jacket that you're holding onto as the girl slips out of her jacket, and you can just see her scurrying away into the dark vents from you, like escaping from you.
Hayes, I'm going after Jennifer! I'm just running. I'm not going to lose her.
Okay. You hear this shout through the vents, and you're not quite sure what that means, Hayes.
Yeah, I'm very confused, and Jennifer. I look back to where the others went, and I look at the vent, and I know with all my pack-out gear and my helmet and everything, I'm not going to really fit in here all that well. So I'm just going to be like, Dimitri! Let me just echoing the continuing down, and I'll stand there for a moment trying to call him back, and if he doesn't return, I'll just have to go find the others. I'll just go follow them.
Hayes! Going to find Jennifer! Hurry!
Yeah, you just hear that call from Dimitri, and it seems like it's getting farther and farther away. The voice just sort of receding into whatever lays beyond the vents.
Damn it. The dead who got up, they're not anywhere around me?
You don't see anything in the hallway, but you do know that around the next corner is where those bodies were located. But you don't see anything coming other than you can see that flickering light. Okay. And as you consider your next move, we'll go over to Yael and Ronan as the two of you are kind of making your way down, hurrying a little bit, but I'm sure taking a bit of caution. Tell me a little bit about what you're looking for and how you're looking for it.
I think I would love to find like some kind of a control center or like a good home base that like we could try to defend. Because I know we were talking about like bringing comms back online. So if we can try to find, I don't know if there's some kind of bridge or control center or something like that, like the center of everything, that might be a good defensible position. But what do you think, RT?
I think RT's on the lookout for, since it's a mining colony and we just left the cargo bay, he's looking for any kind of tool storage, like personnel, lockers, stuff like that, where it'd be utility use. And then, yeah, if we stumble into the control room, then great. But he's more looking for utility to see if there's any to see what's going on with the lack of industry in a place that is built for industry.
Okay. So as the two of you are looking for these things, you're looking for rooms, you're looking for supplies, you're looking for control stations and that sort of thing, you hear footsteps echoing on the floor, and they're seem to be almost in a hurried pace coming your way. And you have like a split second to react if you want to, but they're just about to come around the corner, and you hear voices.
I ready my crowbar.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll hang back behind RT just in case.
I'll push Lance in front of me.
Oh. And he looks down. I don't think he has a weapon, so he's just like,
oh my god,
he's fisticuffs. He's ready to go. He's like, stand behind me, get ready. And you see, as he says that, you see coming around the corner that there is a man with his hair like kind of sweaty and flopped over in front of his face. He has a button-up like suit shirt with a tie that's sort of like off to the side and loose. And there are two other lab sort of jacketed people following him. And they come around the corner, and they stop and look at the three of you. And he says, "You're from the ship, yeah?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you Marcus Lee? Are you the chief geologist?
"No, you're here to see Lee?"
Yes.
Wait, we are?
Yes, we are.
I don't remember that part of it.
Well, I didn't tell you. It's been a busy day.
Oh.
It's been a weird day. We saw you land. We were on our way to the cargo bay. Are you from Green Star?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, we were wondering when you were going to be arriving.
Yeah.
Okay, look, this place is a little bit of a shit show right now. I don't know if you've noticed.
You don't say. The giant pile of bodies that attacked us when we walked in.
Pile of bodies?
Yep.
No, the comms are down. We haven't had contact with Sundian corporate.
Yep.
Lee is in a coma. I mean, there's. I mean,
wait. Go back. You said Lee is in a coma?
Look, there's a lot going on. Maybe we go sit down, talk this.
Just before we go
sir,
in.
You can put the crowbar down. I don't think that's.
Sorry.
Let's start with the Lee in a coma part.
Wait, no, I don't understand the Lee thing. Whatever, I guess, but we killed something in the cargo bay that wasn't something that I thought. Okay,
are you okay?
I'm not sure how to say it. It was a thing that was not a thing.
There was an extraterrestrial creature that followed us into the cargo bay.
Yeah, the crawlers. Right. We don't want those inside for obvious reasons.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Okay.
You never thought to warn us about those before we landed on this place?
Our comms have been down.
Yeah, no comms.
We're lucky we even saw your ship landing. Minnesota Muse just gave everybody an advantage. I mean, this place is a shit show.
Hey, also
Thank you,
shout out.
Ash.
I think I got an advantage earlier as well from Cardman.
Hey, thanks, Cardman. Appreciate you guys. This will come in handy for them.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
Look, this is not a great place to be talking about some of these things. I don't think corporate would want us, talking about. Maybe we go sit down. Come on to my name. I should probably introduce myself. My name's Henry Boyle. He reaches out his hand to Garcia, and Garcia just kind of looks at it, shakes his head. I don't know you. He turns to you, Yale. Henry Boyle.
Fair.
Okay.
You don't have to shake anyone's hand. You don't want to.
Look, I am the administrator here. Sundian Holdings. I can tell you what you need to know, but
Right. The
not
crawlers. The crawlers, they don't have any way of like unburning up, do they?
No, they
Okay.
not to our knowledge, although we haven't studied them extensively. We're not really, exobiologists here. We're geologists.
Well, how many have you killed?
I mean, some of the guys have actually been hunting them for sport just to, relieve stress.
I mean, okay, that's just bananas.
Wait, so let me just get this straight. You found a creature that was able to exist without atmosphere, and instead of studying it, you are hunting it for sport?
I mean, personally, I'm not much of a hunter.
Yael is furious right now.
I see we're getting off on the right foot here. Why don't we go back to my office? I've got some bourbon. We'll have a drink. We'll relax. And as he says that, as you sort of think about that proposal, hold it, and we'll go back to Dimitri. Dimitri, the girl just disappears into the vents.
Is Dimitri still in events?
Yeah,
Or
you're in
there
a vent, but there are like spots where you could like maybe push through the vent and get out. You can see where there's openings, right? So the vents kind of go through the facility, and then they open into different locations. So if you wanted to, you could sort of kick one out.
Yeah, I'm going to look down and look to see what kind of room there is. See if I hear anything or hear any crawling of a little girl. And if I don't hear anything, then I'm going to just push down and enter a room.
Okay. Yeah, you hear you don't hear anything. Here's what you do hear. You don't hear the girl's footsteps, but there is the whispering that you continue to hear in your mind's eye. And it's now sort of beginning to sound like Nadia's voice, but not saying intelligible things. But it's like it's almost a memory of a cadence. And I need you to make a fear save, please. As you're now trying to piece this together, you saw her, you followed her into the vents. Suddenly there was this other girl, but you can still hear. Oh no. What is that?
I rolled 100.
Wait, did you just roll 0-0?
No.
Oh, okay. Because that would be really bad.
It was a 9 and a 1, so it was 91 technically.
Okay, 91. Okay, so you do take 1 level of stress, which puts you at 6.
Wait, actually, no. I'm looking at it here. I'm looking the dice thing. It actually adds up. It is 100. It is. Okay,
so do this. Roll again, but roll the 100s and the 1s d10, because you rolled 2 of the 100s, and we'll see what it is. Maybe you won't get a stress increase here, hopefully. I think your fear is a 37, so you want to roll below that. Oh.
98.
Okay, so indeed you do take 1 level of stress. How are you feeling right now?
Well, I think Dimitri is being pulled in many directions. He ventured into the darkness, found someone, and lost them again, which is bringing back a lot of memories, because when he lost Nadia, he didn't want to lose it, and so even previously he had to lose her to save himself. So he's finding himself making the same mistake, or thinking he is. So he is very, very afraid, and he's feeling very alone at this moment. And of course, being an event, it's kind of like a coffin, so he's going to try to push himself out and just like, no, and just kick out and fall and enter what may. So.
Okay, so you kick out the vent and you find yourself in what appears to be some sort of a supply room. And you look around and you can see some things in there. Give me a D100 roll.
$82.
Okay, so there's like the normal like supplies and cleaning type things, janitorial supplies. There are There are some bandages. There's a variety of different sort of survival type supplies. So there's you can find a Mylar blanket, and you can find a rebreather, and both of those are in the equipment list in the book.
A rebreather?
Yeah, a rebreather is basically is going to allow you to filter toxic air, allows for breathing in low oxygen environments for a short time, 20 minutes. It's oftentimes used for underwater breathing, but you can also connect this to an oxygen tank if needed.
Excellent.
Yep.
Is this room well lit? Is there like a switch?
It's not well lit actually at all. But there is a little bit of light given off from a small sort of like beacon light above the door. So you know where the door is, and you can kind of see enough to be able to like look through the supplies, and you can see a door.
Okay. Well, Dimitri will go through the supplies, gather the blankets, the rebreather, and he will pull out his shotgun called Mother Russia, have his back against the wall, and just try to control his breathing, and he'll put his hand on his Rubik's Cube and just listen if there's anyone on the other side of this door.
Okay. So the Rubik's Cube, are you doing this to bring your stress down a level? Is that the idea here? Okay, perfect. So yes, you reduce your stress, you take a few deep breaths and you listen. And you can hear voices on the other side of the door. These aren't the voices of your sister. These are masculine voices, the voices of men in the distance and then coming closer and then passing by and going the other direction.
Once the voice goes past and it gets more distant, Dimitri will open the door and kind of peek out.
The door slides open and you look down the hallway and you just kind of catch the tail end of two men walking past and turning the corner down the hallway. And you look the other direction, you don't see anything.
Okay. Well, then I will exit to the hallway and start slowly following the two men and head towards... They're heading somewhere. I want to know where it is. Were they wearing uniforms, like corporate uniforms, lab uniforms?
They had blue jumpsuits on.
Is blue significant for miners or for military?
You would not consider them to be military.
Okay.
It didn't seem like that it was a military. It could be a security, but it's likely that it has something to do with like the uniform of this particular facility.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, then I will start heading in that direction. Perhaps they know about a missing female who runs around the vents, and maybe they could give me more information. So I will head that direction.
Okay. And let's jump over to Corporal Hayes. Corporal Hayes, you make a decision after being unable to locate your friend.
Yes, I think right when the gentleman Boyle is in the process of saying that they should go someplace else and enjoy his alcoholic beverages, spirits, I think that maybe the group will suddenly hear sound at the door, and unless it's locked, Hayes will come in through the door of the room they're in.
I think we were still in a hallway, right?
You'd be able to backtrack, and go meet up with them. And this is when you can see Boyle is saying, let's go have a conversation. Oh, there's more of you. Okay, good. Hello.
Yes, I was about to propose that before we go anywhere, we need to get the rest of our crew together.
That's right. Our pilot is missing. Do you have any idea where the ventilation system leads?
The ventilation system runs throughout the facility. So why is your pilot in our ventilation system?
Wait.
That's a great question.
Dimitri went in a vent?
Best I can tell.
I'm going to say this in the most possibly sensitive way I can. I'm going to ask you a question. Are you guys nuts?
No.
Okay. First of all, nuts are very useful.
I don't know what the hell's going on here, but all of us saw something back there and it was messed up. So we're a little bit freaked out.
Look, I understand.
Sir, might I ask that you designate who you are, identify yourself, please?
My name is Henry
Boyle. Boyle. Right.
Yep, Henry Boyle. I am the chief administrator here for Sundian Holdings. Pleasure to meet you. He reaches out his hand. And you are?
I'm Corporal Kenneth Hayes, and I'm here. I'm in charge of this mission down here to explore, see what's going on. We're responding to your distress call, I think. I would assume, with what's running around out here. How many are still alive
Running
in the
around.
complex?
Oh, they're called crawlers, Hayes.
I shoot him a look like, what?
Yeah, I
There's
don't get
none-
it either.
You didn't let
Apparently,
any
they've
in.
been hunting them for sport.
You go figure.
Well, I mean, you run out of things to do when you're on a asteroid mining precious metals. I mean, it's good for morale. I'm sorry.
Wait, you run out of things to do mining metal on a thing made out of metal?
For pleasure. Yeah. Where you're from? Look, this is very confusing. We need to find your pilot. I don't know what you're talking about with the bodies thing. Yes, there was an accident. And I think everything's okay. I'm hoping that the bodies can be delivered back to Helvetios, perhaps with your ship.
No.
Well, these people deserve a proper burial.
Yeah.
Mr. Boyle, if I
Can
may.
you give us a second, Boyle? I think we just need to have a little powwow, so if you don't mind. And I'm gonna kind of shuffle the corporal and RT a bit further down the hallway, so that we can have a conversation.
Not a problem. What's your pilot's name?
Dimitri.
Okay, thank you. He looks at the other people next to him. You hear him say, as you're kind of huddling up, you hear him say, "Try to find Dimitri. Would you get people out looking for him? Thank you." Go ahead.
Okay, guys, did you see something in the hallway before?
Like what?
Did you see those things grab me?
Yeah.
That happened. Because it feels like this guy is kind of gaslighting us to make us think that didn't happen, but it happened, right?
He's not aware of the
Corporal?
fact that there's walking dead people in his facility, or the fact that there's creatures trying to kill us.
No, he knows about the creatures, but not the bodies.
I think back to the dossier that I was given about what exactly we're doing here, and I'm wondering what exactly is going on. But I don't say anything about that to the group. I will just simply look at the doctor, and I will say, "Doctor, if I may, I am down as head of security on this specific mission, and I think that maybe perhaps I can implement a protocol to make sure that I handle further interactions with the people here."
Why exactly? I'm just trying to make. You didn't answer my question. Did you?
You're
see
a little
that thing?
salty,
Or-
is all.
What? No.
RT, that doesn't help.
I'm sorry. Did you guys not just see bodies attacking us and chasing us
Of course
down
we
a
saw
hallway,
bodies
and
attacking
then
you.
Dimitri freaked out so much that he went into a vent?
Of
So
course. We
I
saw
I
mean-
think that this is a pretty extreme situation. So the fact that you're treating me as being salty when I'm trying to get to the bottom of what's going on.
No, I just said a little salty. That's all I meant.
RT.
That's fine. That's fine. I can be salty. I don't give a fuck.
I know.
But
I
the
know.
truth of the matter is that something is going on here, and either that guy doesn't know it yet, or he knows and he's not admitting to it.
Look, I'm in command here.
Okay.
Both need to stop and give me a second.
Okay.
I will take over control of dealing with these people and finding out exactly what they're doing here. If they want to gaslight us, as you put it, Doctor, I will make sure we see the truth of it. Now, did Boyle give you any more information about who exactly he is or what he's doing here? His name is not in my dossier I was given.
He's just the admin.
And they seem to think nothing is going on and everything is fine. So also, I do want to address one thing, RT, because, oh, wow, we just got a lot of amazing stuff just happened in the chat.
Yep. Thank you, Wandering.
Jeez.
5 gift subs. That means
Wow.
everybody's stress drops by 5. So,
Oh,
well
yeah,
done.
baby.
Well, we can only go down to 2, right?
You can only go down to 2, but nevertheless,
Okay, so all of us-
you're
We take
Yeah.
a big breath.
I think we all take a
deep
moment.
breath.
Yeah.
We're like,
Woosah,
we feel so
woosah.
much better for
Yep.
some reason.
I think
Okay.
there's a moment of silence between all of us, and then Hayes will say, "Look, I'm sorry. Lost my cool for a moment. I think it's important that we have a
So did I.
unified front here, and we make sure that we are all together." I'll look at
I agree.
Gael. I
In
did
order
see
to
what
do that,
happened, and I believe
I need to
you
tell
completely.
you why we're here. I need to tell you why we're here. RT, I mentioned it before.
Right.
I was specifically told to talk to someone.
Right.
His name is Lee. He's their chief geologist, and apparently he's in a coma. That's the other piece of information that we just got.
Mm-hmm.
But he wouldn't
That
tell
one
us
kinda
why.
slipped
He wanted
out.
us. He wanted us to sit down and have a drink to talk about this, and it feels so out of place because it feels like everything is very wild, and we just thought we were running for our lives, and now he just wants to sit and have a drink. So I don't know if I trust this guy. What do you guys think?
I don't trust him, but I haven't had bourbon in, well, like a year or more at least. I don't even remember.
I I think, Doctor, that you and I are going to have a nice, long, personal talk like we had before about what exactly it is you think we're doing here, because it doesn't match what I was told we're doing here. And
all I can tell you is I have a direct order, and that
from
outranks you.
So now you have a military rank I don't know of.
No, I said the order outranks you.
Yeah,
because it's from corporate. And also I do have a military rank, but we don't have to talk about that right now.
Okay, but I think we can I just chime for a moment?
No. Look, first things first, we need to find Dimitri. We need to find out exactly what's going on. He said he was looking after somebody named Jennifer. Do you have anything in your secret mission about someone named Jennifer that I don't know about? I should know about?
I knew
I just told you everything I know. I'm trying to clear the air. I just told you everything I know. That's what I know.
I don't think I would have chased her into vents. No.
So
as you guys are all mulling this over, we'll jump back over to Dimitri. Dimitri, you are following these two blue jumpsuit clad workers as they are making their way down the hall. You are following. You've got Mother Russia in your hands, I think you said. Yes. I love this. Suddenly this became like an episode of Doom or something. And this is a first-person shooter. You head towards them. How close are you getting?
I want to get close enough to see if they're talking. If they're talking about work, if they're talking about some sort of danger. I kind of want to assess who they are by what they're talking about. Are they walking in silence? Are they talking about, grub? Just want to get kind of a little bit closer to kind of make out what they're saying, if anything.
Okay. Yeah, you get close. They stop in the hall, and you kind of like stop, and you're back a little ways, maybe up against the wall, and you can hear them. They look at their hand terminals, right? And they're like, oh, shit, somebody lost in the vents? What is this? Now they want us doing search and rescue. These fucking corporate stiffs. The other one's like, yeah, I didn't sign up for this shit. Fuck. All right, well, look, if we find him, maybe there's a bonus. I suppose, but where are we gonna spend it?
Right as they say that, I'm like, hey, and coming out of the darkness, holding the shotgun.
Whoa.
Get on your knees. Get on your knees.
Oh shit.
Where's Jennifer? Where is the little girl?
Oh my god.
Answer me now.
She went that way.
Cock the shotgun.
She went that way, right? Right, Mitch? Yep. Oh yeah, totally that way. And he's pointing the opposite direction. Yep.
What are you looking for? Who were you looking for? Are you looking for me?
He looks
it's bonus time. You're about to get your bonus.
You're Dimitri?
Yeah. I'm the pilot of the ship, looking for a little girl, looking for my crew.
Look, can you put the gun down? Look, little girl, I don't know. We heard you were lost.
Since I'm no longer in a panic state and I've reached a place of zen, there will not be brains, decorating the floor, but I'll take a step back. Forgive me, I was in a different place. I'm looking for a little girl. I'm looking for my crew. There was no one here. Who are you?
You want to set the gun down?
Yes. Sorry. Gun is away. Okay, we can talk.
I'm Mitch. This is Tommy. Yeah, I'm Tom. Look, we just work here. Okay. Minding our own business, trying to do what's right. Yada yada. They said to look for a very confused but ridiculously good-looking pilot lost in the. Look, can we stand up?
Yeah, you can stand up and give me your comm.
He gives you the hand terminal.
Give me your terminal.
Yeah. He hands it to you.
What can this terminal do?
You can communicate with anybody that's connected to the terminal. That'd be one thing you can look up. You can look up status of certain operations, possibly because these guys are miners. They might have like logbooks, or depending on what their job is, they might have access to certain logs and documentation, plans, schematics, that kind of thing.
Okay. This is good. Can you take me to the bridge? I need to find my crew.
Yeah, sure. They said that the rest of your crew is with the administrative folks.
That's good. I don't know
Mr.
where
Boyle?
that is, so would you take me there, please?
Yeah. Right this way.
Please.
They start walking, and they're just kind of looking at each other. Then they kind of look back at you, keep walking, and eventually they're going to lead you down the corridor back to sort of where you came in. The rest of you now are making your way, or actually no, you guys are still having your conversation in the hallway. And this is when around the corner you see these two blue jumpsuit men walking, and behind them you can see is your pilot Dimitri.
Oh
My God.
Hayes, I thought you said he was lost.
Did you
Dimitri,
lose
are you
another-
all right?
Oh. There you are. Sorry, I thought I heard something on the vent. I found a little girl. She seemed scared. She was running through the vents. I called out to you. I told you we must save Jennifer. Who's Jennifer?
I don't know.
There's a girl in the vents named Jennifer. I do not know. I crawl out. I find these two men. They don't know nothing.
When you say girl, like we're talking what? Child?
Yes, a child. I do not know age. I don't work for a carnival. I cannot guess age, but it's young.
As we all know, carnivals
She's crawling around right now in the air vents.
famously guess age.
You suspect this girl's in danger? You think
Well,
something
she
happened?
seems to be running, probably from what we were running from, with the hands and the dead people walking. Why is everyone so calm?
Okay, see? So we did see that. Good. More
course.
confirmation.
At this point, Mitch and Tommy, the two workers, they go over and they're having a conversation with Henry. And there's two additional, as I mentioned, two folks that are like in white jackets with him. They look to be sort of like corporate types, and one of them leaves and walks away. The female of the two is still standing there, and they're just kind of looking at you. Is everything going to be okay then? Says Boyle. We got.
Yeah, just one more second. I think we're almost done flipping out.
I think I would turn to Hayes and I'd say, let's let this guy talk our ears off, see what we can get before we reveal anything more about what we're here to do. He seems like a talker to me.
Got it.
Oh, wait.
Well, Dimitri, I'm glad you're okay. Let's hear what this administrator has to say.
Did you two just agree?
Well, he agreed with me because I was right. And then I start walking towards the administrator.
I don't even say anything. There's just a beat, and then I follow behind her.
Dimitri, I don't reckon I'll ever understand women.
Let's go.
The
How
four
was
of
the
you
vent?
and Garcia, because I keep forgetting Garcia is there, walks with the four of you back to where Boyle is with the woman, and Mitch and Tommy kind of turn and they look at you, Dimitri, and they say "Ich Lakan," and they tap their the insignia, the Sundian Holdings insignia on their jumpsuit, and then as they turn to leave, they just kind of look over at Boyle and they go, "By the way, the pilot's got a shotgun," and then they walk off. And you can see Boyle just turns to you and says, "Are we gonna have problems here?"
We will not have
No.
any problems. Tap shotgun. No problems at all. In fact, everything's going just fine.
I
No
think
problem.
once we
We
all
came in-
debrief one another, we'll have an idea of what exactly we're all dealing with here.
Okay.
Yeah. You
Come with-
mentioned talking to us in your office. Let's go do that.
let's do
You
that.
also
And
said something about bourbon.
indeed, I did. Follow me, my friends. And he starts guiding you. Now you see the woman sort of like gesture for you to pass, and she just kind of walks behind the group as you're heading towards wherever Boyle is guiding you. Now he does open up a door. He hits the keypad and types in a code, and the door opens up, and he walks in. You presumably follow, and it is this kind of a plush office space. There is a couch, there are some chairs, there is a little a bar on the side with some different bottles of booze. He has a big desk that you can see. It's a nice actual like real wooden desk, and you're thinking that they spent a lot of money to ship that here. And it's a very nice, there's some nice artwork on the walls, nothing, it's kind of tacky in a way, but it's comfortable and nicer than just the metal of, like the stark metal of what you've seen thus far. So it's a little bit of a welcome sight as you get inside. Now, he walks right over to the bar and starts pouring bourbon, and he gestures for you to sit, and he places one on the little glass table in front of each of you.
Hayes
So-
will stand.
He hands you a glass. Garcia sits down and then and grabs a glass of the bourbon, and then sees you and stands back up and sets the bourbon down. But then he picks up the bourbon again and and then puts the empty glass down.
Yeah, Hayes
So-
doesn't take the bourbon. He just puts a hand up to dismiss it.
Please, at ease, gentlemen, or whatever you want. He sits down. Now, look, I was under the impression that when the comms went down, perhaps Sundian would send someone here to take a look at things. We've been unable to get the comms back online. We've had some sporadic successes with that. I don't know if you're technicians or not. Maybe I guess I don't know why you're here. We didn't have any message of you arriving. In fact, we were surprised to see the sensors go off when the ship landed.
Well,
So
I'm gonna fix your communications. You keep this bourbon going, and I'll fix it real quick.
But before we
Noted.
do, talk us through the timeline a little bit. So how long have your comms been down, and how long have you been here?
Well, I mean, the mining operation's been going for 12 years. I've been here for 8. And I should have introduced you to Sarah, Sarah Williams here. Look, Sarah's the chief of mining operations. She can answer a lot of questions relative to mining. She works very closely with Dr. Marcus Lee, who it sounds like you're here to talk to or something. Unfortunately, Marcus Lee is in the infirmary. Sad story. He seems to be in some sort of a coma. So maybe you're here responding. I guess I don't know why you're here. You're here to fix the comms. You're here to scare the shit out of my employees. No offense with the shotgun.
That is definitely not our intention. I think I will say that we didn't expect there to be creatures on this asteroid that might attack us. So we brought the shotgun as a precaution.
Understood.
And it turned out to be a good thing because one of those things attacked us. So how long have you known about those?
The crawlers.
Yes.
Well, I mean, the crawlers have been, they've been here as long as we have been here. They seem to be some sort of inhabitants. They were found initially inside the caverns where we're doing the active mining.
Really? Any chance these crawlers got near your communications gear?
I mean, it's possible. You know, it didn't look like the damage to the array had anything to do with gnawing or chewing. It seemed to be maybe weather related or something of that nature.
Wait, you said there's damage.
There's some damage to the array. We've been unable to fix it.
What kind of damage from weather would you get on a place that doesn't have weather?
Well, I don't know if you were out and about, but there's a lot of debris. I think it has something to do with Sarah could probably tell you. It has something to do with the way that the asteroid is spinning in its trajectory. It causes some sloughing of material from the surface, a fine sediment layer that's breaking up. It seems like it's been breaking up for tens of thousands of years. We just happen to be the beneficiaries of being able to access some of the key minerals that have been laid underneath. We think this was some sort of a protoplanet at one point. So there is sort of this core structure that we've been able to tap into, and we've been pulling out some pretty interesting elements. Lanathium, neodymium, yttrium. There's even some iron and nickel. So, as you can guess, Sundian values this hunk of rock pretty highly, and I'm sure the corporate is pretty concerned when they couldn't hear from us. So,
what sort of problems have you been having with cleavage and slating?
Quite a bit. Look, once. It pains me to say it, but we did have an accident. The bodies that you saw, and we apologize for the way that they've been, prepared, but there was a collapse. And, some of the folks inside the mine at the time didn't make it, and that's the unfortunate result of an accident. So I apologize for that. We thought perhaps when we saw the ship arriving, you were here to maybe help take those folks back to Helvetius.
We are here responding to the fact that your comm systems are down, and a shipment that was supposed to be coming back to the Romulus 7 and a scheduled pickup a few months from now was going to be delayed because of that. Is there anything you could tell us about the status of that?
I mean, everything seems to be on track. The big problem, and she looks over at Boyle. Look, I would say the things aren't great right now between management and the mining folks. A little bit of friction since the accident, and not a whole lot's been getting done around here. You can see there's even people from the landing party, the landing crew, that weren't available to even come out and greet you or take care of your needs. Some of the systems have been on the fritz as a result of lack of maintenance. Relations right now with the workers is not great.
Well, as you pointed out, Mr. Boyle, we did get off on a bit of the wrong foot, so I can assure you that our man RT here will get all of your equipment up and working properly. I'd like to have Dimitri, if we could, not resort to Mother Russia to make sure that he takes a look at our ship. We want to get it inside to have it looked at properly and make sure that we're able to get up off of the planet once our communications are made after the array is fixed. The doctor here would like to have a conversation with myself and you about some additional information about our mission.
Of course.
What I want to know, though, before we continue any further, is what sort of, how should I say, problems have you been having with any sort of release of gases out of the atmosphere or out of the mining that you've done? Anything that might perhaps cause hallucinations?
Look, there's been some talk about some of the materials that have been recovered from the mine. Sarah, do you want to take this one? Yeah, I mean, this is Marcus's realm, but well, we found something in the mine, and I think that's part of the friction that we're seeing right now with the miners, myself included. It's caused quite a bit of disruption to everything around here. Maybe it's best if you saw it.
Oh, that old trope. All right.
Would you
And-
and your people? Oh, excuse me. Go ahead, Doctor.
Is this item of scientific interest or mining interest?
Well, Dr. Marcus Lee seemed to think that it was significant, and actually had put in a request for Green Star Logistics to send a ship to pick it up and take it back to Helvetius to study it and figure out what the hell it is.
When he says that, Hayes is side-eyeing Yael to see if maybe she knows about that.
I think what Hayes would see on Yael's face is some recognition and some confusion. You see that she recognizes something of like, oh, I wonder if that's why we're here, but not of total, I've heard this before. Like, and you see she waits a second and she says, I'm here on direct command from corporate command. So I am ordering you to show me all of Dr. Lee's notes and office, and as well as this item. I want every piece of information that you can give me.
Of course.
And I will not take no for an answer.
No, of course. Look, we want to get this sorted out as much as you do. He gets up and he walks over and grabs the bourbon bottle and goes back around, and if anybody is interested, he pours another. Look, my job here is to keep things on a schedule. As is it Hayes? Hayes mentioned. That schedule is important to corporate. It's important to my job. It's important to all of our jobs. Some people aren't getting the message, and that's been a problem. That's on the administration to figure out. I understand. We don't need, y'all getting involved with that. But if you could help us with the comms, that would be huge. And look, if you want to see the doctor or Marcus, or you want access, that's fine. We just want to get to the bottom of this. We'd like to get things back to normal and get back underway with the mining, quite frankly.
I'll tell you what. You throw in a couple cases of this here bourbon, I'll check all your systems.
I wish I could do that. I don't have cases. We haven't had a shipment of liquor for quite some time, unfortunately.
And RT, we are being paid, so I think we should just do our jobs.
I think the bit you've had already, RT, will be just enough to suit you just fine. What I would suggest, if I may, Mr. Boyle, would be to perhaps get the bodies in a more secure location.
Yeah, not in the hallway.
Right.
Speaking of bodies, I encountered a young girl in the events. Are there families or living here? What are your employee protocols on children working in the mine?
We don't. There are no children on station.
There's no
Are you
children
sure?
on station?
Are you sure?
Anyway, we're super excited to see all this stuff.
Right.
And I
RT,
kind of like
Dimitri,
nudge
if you could maybe
Hayes a little.
go get started. The doctor and I would like to have a conversation with Mr. Boyle, and I'll look her daggers.
Sure.
You see, she's just kind of like, we don't want to seem crazier than we already are.
Boyle's going to look over to Sarah and say, maybe connect them with Johnson, and he can help them with what they need to fix the ship. Seems like that's a priority. We can get you out to the comms array as well. RT, is it? Yeah.
Sure.
and see if we can get that thing up and running. And is that all right, Sarah? Would you mind taking? Yeah, that's fine. I'll get Jake, and we'll get this squared away. If you don't mind, follow me.
Right. You don't have any like homemade alcohol?
She just kind of turns and walks out the door as you ask that question. And that, my friends, go ahead.
Addiction is a sickness, my friend.
As you down the rest of your bourbon. Let's go ahead and take a break right there, you guys. And when we come back, we will move in opposite directions and see what we can find out about what the hell's going on around here. And thanks to everybody who's been hanging out with us and watching this craziness unfold. We will be back in just a couple of short minutes. Hang out, and we'll see you in a bit. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We're playing Mothership. And yeah, this is the first time we played Mothership on stream, and we're having a blast with it. It's a very fun game with some interesting mechanics related to stress and panic and sort of like the mental sort of challenges that you face when you're in tight spots and need to react quickly. So a lot of the time when the players are rolling dice, that's when stuff is really starting to go south. And when you fail on a roll of whatever it is you're rolling, that's when things can lead to panic. And so when we get there, it's going to be oh so beautiful. But nevertheless, we have so far been able to withstand panic. We have been stressed, and we have just relieved our stress with a couple of nice sips of a pretty decent bourbon that you shared around the table with Henry Boyle, who is the chief administrator for Sundian Holdings here at the Exoplanet Mining Facility on Tenebris 979. So, my friends, we'll start with Hayes and Yael and your conversation with Boyle as the others leave the room. The three of you are left. Or go ahead, Dimitri.
One thing, as Dimitri leaves the room, he will do like a kind of salute to Corporal Hayes, and as if he does return the salute or not. One of the things is that normally Dimitri never salutes him. It's kind of a thing that we do where it's kind of like an unspoken thing. Like if we salute, it's kind of a hey, watch your back type thing. And so he'll do a salute, and then he'll reach out his hand to shake it, and when he holds his hand out, he will have that tablet and hand it to him as he leaves.
Yeah, I return it, and yeah, I accept it. And I will stare after him for a moment when they leave.
So you have questions, I understand. Let's just get everything out in the open. I want to be as transparent with you as possible. If we can take care of a few of these things, it sounds like your team is on it. Please let me know. What is it?
Well, I'd like a debriefing and a sit. Excuse me. It's been a long day. I'd like a sit rep.
Yeah, don't worry, Corp. I can take care of it. What the corporal means to say is that we've had a difficult landing here today, and I'd like to just reset and come at this quite honestly with you. We did not expect to see extraterrestrials on this planet. We did not expect to see bodies in your front hallway. So we came in pretty hot and heavy, and for that we apologize. And I hope that moving forward we can be cooperative, and I guarantee our pilot will not be using that rifle of his. Tensions were just quite high. My name is Captain Yael Misraev, formerly of the Marines. I have a PhD in exobiology, and I have been sent here specifically from the Green Star corporate team. My contact is Betsy Martin, and I'm here to speak with Marcus Lee. So you've told us that he's in a coma, so obviously that may not be possible. Do you have any doctors on the ship that I can speak to? And if not, I do have training in field medicine from my time in the military, so I would be happy to take a look at him and see what I can do.
Yes. Thank you for
this
all
entire
of that.
time has been looking at her now. He has a bit of a surprise, the fact that she dropped a rank like that. So he kind of did a double take, and then he's watched her finish talking, and now he takes a moment and he looks like he's resigned to something, but then he turns back to look to see what Boyle's going to say.
Thank you for resetting. I appreciate it. Yeah, of course. Yes. Marcus had an accident. We're not exactly sure what caused his current state. We do have a full infirmary, and there is a medical team that has been monitoring him. He is stable but unresponsive. We do have him on a respirator to aid with breathing, but I'm sure that he could benefit from your, expertise.
When did this happen?
This happened.
It's the same accident or a separate accident?
This did not have to do with the collapse, if that's what you're driving at. This was something different. Look, we recovered something, as my colleague mentioned. We brought it into the laboratory to study it. Marcus was in charge of leading up that investigation. I assumed that perhaps you are here in response to that as well. The call went out to Sundian, which we all know is a subsidiary of Green Star. I didn't realize they'd be able to send someone so quick, but nevertheless, here you are. Marcus was studying the object, and like I said, we don't know what happened. We found him on the floor of his office in the current state. We responded right away, so he's alive, but that's about all I can tell you about that. If you want to take a look at it, that'd be wonderful.
Also, shout out, that was Ava. We're introducing as Kasparov.
The android cat.
The android cat. Yeah, Yael will think for a moment and she'll say, not only would I like to see the doctor, I would like to see all medical records and tests that have already been done on him, if he wouldn't mind. And as well, I think Corporal Hayes and I would love to hear any other information that maybe you weren't comfortable sharing before, as we are both in leadership roles, and so anything you share with us will not be shared with the others. And she's like kind of putting on this front, but Hayes might not be able to tell if she's telling the truth about that or not.
Look, I probably have already said too much. I mean, management relations with staff is not good right now. Ever since the collapse, the deaths, which we had suggested shipping the bodies back to Helvetios for proper burial and return to families, people just have not been willing or interested in taking care of the things that need to be taken care of around here. I don't blame them. It's been tragic, but there are things that need to happen to keep this place running and safe for all of the inhabitants. We are on a rock in the middle of space without immediate rescue or life support. And you can just see him starting to sweat. You can tell he's very stressed out. He takes his glass and he drains it and sets it back down, and you can see him his hand kind of shaking. look, they're blaming us for the collapse, cutting corners on safety, long shifts, odd hours. Look, there might be something to that. I don't know. I don't work on the scheduling. I simply write reports and send them back to corporate. I think it's, honestly, it's that thing. That thing we recovered. It's got people distracted. I feel like people are walking around as if they're in a cloud. I'm hoping that, look, if we can work something out here, the bodies, this rock, it would be best if they were removed from Tenebris, if you catch my drift.
What exactly is this rock?
Well, any description that I would provide would be wouldn't do it justice. Marcus called it a monolith, or I think he even said artifact. We're not sure exactly its origins or why it happens to be here on this rock hurtling through space, but it seems important. Marcus certainly thought it was. I mean, you look at it, you can see it. Doesn't make sense.
Noticed anything with your crew in terms of their mental health? Has this thing been affecting them psychologically?
Yeah, he opens his desk drawer and he pulls out this file and he slams down the table in front of you, and you can, if you decide to, you can open it. But he's like, there's been a serious uptick in personnel file updates, if you catch my drift. Some fights, quite a bit of hostile, angry activity. Again, they lost their friends. I understand how that can really wear on you. You could,
absolutely. I mean, both the corporal and I can relate to losing friends while on the line. And as they're talking, she's very slowly pulling this giant file closer and closer and closer until it's like in her lap.
yeah, it's pretty thick, and if you open up the folder, you can see that it's, basically like reports on infractions, people having to spend, like a night in the brig for fighting or for smashing things, and you just page after page, there's like 24 of these in there, and they all seem to be within the last couple of weeks. We had no problems for a number of years. I mean, we had the occasional, fight or argument, people not showing up for their shifts and that kind of thing. But this seems, well, there's just the frequency of it. I mean, look at the dates, and you start paging through the dates and you can see what he's talking about.
Yeah, I'll start paging through and let the corporal ask any other questions he wants to ask.
As you consider your response, let's jump over to RT and Dimitri. Yep, let's jump over there real quick. The two of you are following this woman who is Sarah Williams, who introduces you to a man named Jake Johnson, and he is a big fella. He's in the blue jumpsuit like the other workers are, and he taps his Sundian holding patch and he says, "Ich Lacan, name's Jake Johnson. Pleasure to meet you. Sarah says you're here to help us out fixing the comm arrays, and you need a little help with your ship. Is that right?"
Yeah. There's some fuel line issues with the transport, but first things first. I'm gonna need a whole schematic of the facility. If I could get that.
Absolutely.
And then also
he pulls up his hand terminal and
the
just kind of does some
you
gestures.
can too. Also, is I'd like you to find a way for me to get the best picture of your ventilation system as possible.
Should be in the schematics, and he you can see.
I just want it highlighted or whatever you need to do to help me see it.
Highlight the air ducts, right? Okay.
Yeah.
You can see your hand terminal kind of ping to let you know that there's some data on it, some new data, and you can see that he sent you the schematics of the facility.
So deftly copy and send to Dimitri. I didn't need the highlights, but
so to the ship then. We'll get you started. You're Dimitri, and your name is.
Just call me RT. You're good.
All right, Sarah. I think we've got it from here. Thank you very much. And she kind of looks and says, "If you need anything else, let me know."
Okay.
And she walks off. All right. Well, we've got some modified grav in the cargo bay, which you're aware of, but we don't have a whole lot in terms of atmosphere in there, so we're gonna have to vac suit up.
Yep.
All right. So the three of you head out back towards the area where you came in from the cargo bay, and as you're walking, you expect to see this pile of bodies that you had interacted with earlier in this in your visit to this base, and you look at them and again expecting to see carnage. And remember, RT, the blood that you had seen on the walls of this space, none of that is there. In fact, the bodies themselves are fully secured in body bags. And they are stacked like methodically in this space next to the cargo door. And he says, is it agreed that you're taking the bodies? Because we could load those into your cargo. I mean, you're going back to Helvetios, right? We don't have a whole lot of options. It's either incinerate, which most of the guys, look, I'm sort of an in-between, you know, I work with staff and some of the grunts on the line, but then, you know, I work with Boyle and his team. I kind of liaise, if you know what I mean, between the two. I don't think they want to see these bodies incinerators shot out into space. We don't do that normally. It sure would be nice to send them home to their families.
Well, I think due to the fuel line issue, we can do both. So what we're going to do is this. I suggest we incinerate the bodies, but in order to keep morale up, we will still load the body bags as if there's something inside. Therefore, your people are happy, and we don't weigh down my ship. So, what do you think, RT? And I'm like gripping RT's arm like there were bodies, like piled up, like bloody. You saw it, I saw it. Look, what are we going to do? Like, this is like normal day for them. What is this?
I don't know what's wrong with my friend here's grip. Ow. Jeez, Dimitri. But I mean, I got no problem loading empty body bags. That's fine.
Dimitri, given your response, I would say that warrants a sanity check.
Ooh.
Fair enough.
First one of the day.
That's right.
Surprisingly.
Ooh.
I'm rolling high.
Yeah,
89.
you are. 89. That's no good. Yeah, you gain a point of stress, my friend.
You're the only one who's rolled today. Nobody
Yeah,
else
you
has
rolled a
rolled
lot.
today. It's all you, and
All
they're
right,
all
Jack,
bad.
you need to give it to me.
Don't remind him we haven't rolled yet. Shh.
Be
Yeah,
like,
exactly. When you're rolling, it's bad news.
this is
But we'll get there.
Just remember your Teamster thing that when he makes you roll a panic check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
fun. I could take advantage if I need to, once per
Yeah.
session.
Oh, that's
Yes.
helpful.
It's not normal.
Are you okay?
Yeah, he's just had a rough. You know what? He's a damn good pilot, and he just landed us on a rock with you call them crawlers, we call them what the hell. So he's had a tough time. He also like fell into some vents and stuff. It's not a big deal. It's just he's coming out, but he's making sense. He's making sense to me though. If you get rid of the bodies, incinerate them, then what we can do is we can just fill the body bags with whatever you need to get rid of that's not a body, and we can take that on board. That'd be fine, and it'll look like we're loading bodies.
All right, well, we'd have to get the bodies to the incinerator without anybody seeing it happen.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've been on this little tour of yours for a bit, and I've seen 5 people. So
That's a good point.
is the incinerator like next to the lounge or something?
No, unfortunately not, but it's near the power array.
Well, okay. Is there a lot of people around the power array?
Look, we just need to cart these bodies down there, and we can do it. But if anybody sees us, they might. Well, we just have to take our chances. I mean, they may not like it. We might get some questions, but
Right.
Oh,
well, that's all right.
We
can.
got some questions of our own, but can we put them in a crates or something? Like, this be,
Yeah, you don't have to like stack bodies on top
hey,
of
we
each
got
other.
bodies. Come check us out now.
yeah, let's get you working on repairs, and I'll take care of the bodies. First things first. Yeah.
Right. We're gonna float out into space. I mean, okay, let's just repair this ship.
Right. You take care of the bodies, and we'll
repair the ship.
We'll repair the ship, and I'll look over the schematics and figure out how to fix your communications, and yeah, that'll work.
All right, fair enough. Let's suit up and head out to your ship.
Okay.
All right, so as the 3 of you suit up with your vac suits and get ready to head back out into cargo bay, we'll jump back to Corporal Hayes as he is considering his question or response to Yale.
So we come back, I will look to Boyle, and I will say, of your miners that are here, how many of them correlate to the number of aggression that you've seen in your reports?
Well, we've got, let's see, last count, he pulls out a file. Now, we've got 76 people working here, not all of them miners. Looks like got close to 45 folks that actually work the machines, work the processing.
So you don't have people who physically go down there and mine on by
hand? They're down there, but they're in equipment, right? They're using walkers and machines to pull out the ores. Absolutely.
Well, good. Safety protocols are important with that kind of work. The only thing I would want to know that might be of more interest is, do you have very many attacks by the crawlers? You said they've been here since pretty much you've arrived.
I mean, not usually, but we're pretty careful around them, and they don't seem to bother the operations too much, especially when we're inside of the heavy equipment that we're using. They've learned to sort of steer clear a little bit of what our folks are working on, but not sure why they gave you trouble.
Did you say they learned?
Well, that's my guess. I mean, we don't really know. We haven't studied them. I'm sort of just projecting sort of the anthropomorphism of what I interpret, but it's possible. I mean, you're learned in these ways. I mean, what are your thoughts? Did you get a chance to take a look at one of them?
Well, we took a look at the one that we impaled with a forklift. By the way, sorry about that. Forklift. You might want to get that checked out. But I'm coming up still very confused, and I think once we gather more information, I'll be able to have a conclusion to you. I'm sure we would be happy to share our findings and more of like the lying that Hayes probably picks up on.
Yeah. So, Boyle, there may be a correlation to the creatures with sound. Maybe perhaps that they are having problems with the sound of the machinery makes. My team and I were on foot, and our ship wasn't entirely functional. So that might be why there's a lot of creatures, animals, I guess you could say, that when you're hunting, sound is paramount to make sure they don't get scared off. So,
I mean, you would know better than I, sir. Again, I'm just an administrator. I don't spend a whole lot of time outside the walls of this facility.
of course, well, I'd maybe like to speak with the head of the mine, the like a foreman, not Miss Williams, someone else, someone who is down on the ground running the machinery, someone who gets their hands dirty.
Yeah, Jake, who your friends are with, he's sort of a go-between, if you will, between our office and the folks on the ground, so to speak. There's also Sparks. Emma would be happy to speak with you. She's chief engineer of the whole operation. Genius when it comes to making things work. Jake is probably, it sounds like, who you're asking about. I'm sure he'd be happy to answer any questions you have. We're all, team players here. So whatever you need, we're happy to provide it. I just hope that you'll be able to help us out by calming things down around here. Your friend with the weapon, which we don't typically like to have on the premises, keep him in check, maybe. Seems a little unhinged.
I'm sure he'll be fine. But that actually brings me to another point of order. As the person in charge of the defense of my team here, I want to make sure, do you have an armory? Do you have some sort of cache that we might be able to access if we need to?
We do have a small armory. I'm not authorized to share anything, but, given circumstances...
Well, we can authorize that for you.
Understood. If that's important, I would hope that we could help to diffuse any sort of concerns that some of the workers might have. Walking around toting shotguns and other weapons may send a signal that, I'm not necessarily comfortable with, so...
I don't suspect we'll have any sort of need to directly use such things, but I just want to make sure all my options are weighed.
Understood. The option is available. I just want to be careful with how that option is executed, if you understand what I'm saying.
Of course. We are anything if not careful.
Right.
Cut back to us, like, destroying the hangar bay with, like, a forklift.
Yeah.
We're
Exactly.
so careful.
Very careful. Which is a great segue to jump back to the hangar bay with our three...
Hey, you're welcome.
Our three technicians now out at the ship, and you can hear Jake through the comms. So what do you think it's going to take here, RT, to get this thing back up and running?
Well, we need a whole new fuel line. Whole thing.
Well, yeah, you're lucky the xenon didn't just blow on this thing. What did you hit?
Rocks.
Huh.
You know what we're standing on.
there was some kind of storm interference, and all the power of the ship fell. Have you ever experienced that with any of your equipment, where it would suddenly lose power for no reason?
That you said you lost complete power of the ship.
Well, it seemed that way. Yeah.
I mean, we've had some very strange power surges that have happened across the facility, kind of rolling surges that have affected different parts of the compound at different times. I mean, without being directly connected to the system, I don't know how that could be, how it might have influenced your ship, but it sure seems strange.
It might be atmospheric. We don't know.
At what point did it happen? Was it when you were coming through the dust cloud?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why we had to make hard landing, hit rock. Yeah,
but it was softer than it could have been. So.
Well, you're alive.
Yes. Otherwise, we would.
That was my meaning, Jake.
Yes.
Well, let's get you set up with some tools, and God damn, you're lucky it didn't rupture. Look at right here.
I know.
Half a foot to the left, and you would have been a fiery ball.
Yep, burning alive. I know. It's all right.
I'll be damned. Well, it looks like you're lucky to be here. We're lucky to have you.
Yeah.
TBD.
Well, if you want to talk to anybody at any point in time in the future, then you're going to be thankful. So, I mean, on communications, not like talking. You know what I mean.
I think I know what you mean. You're going to fix the comm arrays?
Right.
Got it. Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, I don't threaten. There's no reason to.
No. We've had enough of that around here. People are unhinged. It's been strange, but
yeah.
Let's get you guys set up. So he walks over, and you can see now that he pulls down this panel, and there's all kinds of tools that you can utilize to start to work on the ship.
Is there like private comm?
I think that yeah, you'd be able to connect with Dimitri because of his proximity on a secure channel. I think you guys would probably have something like that.
Just over it, you hear in a like he's whispering, but it's a calm, but he's still whispering. You hear, maybe we put some of these tools in those body bags.
But don't we need the tools to fix the ship?
Show off. No, after we're done, we just,
Good debates, I suppose. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
I know a little how to fix a ship, so if you show me how, I can assist.
You can help for a little bit until I can make up an excuse for you to go check your girl in the vents.
We are in an understanding. I like this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you wouldn't just make that shit up, so.
Yet, we must find her.
Yeah. All right.
And then you got the welding supplies here and the foam gun. You're gonna need this. He hands it over to you, and Jake is kind of giving you the layout of his tools. Hey, my tool shop is yours. Whatever you need, you just let me know. I'm happy to help.
What you could do for me, Jake, my friend, I could use some a little more of that bourbon that was in what's his name again?
Boyle?
Boyle, right. I was gonna say Warts, but that ain't right. In Boyle's office, if you could just see about just getting me a little piece. And
look, pal, let's get something straight. I'm here to help you, but I ain't no errand boy, and I certainly ain't a waiter.
I don't need you to serve it to me. I just need a little.
Maybe you get the job done first.
Did Jake just get super hot?
Maybe you get the job done.
So hot?
I think so. maybe you get the job done first, RT, and then we can talk about a celebration afterwards.
I'm not talking about celebrating. I'm just talking about living.
Okay. Is he looks over at you, Dimitri. Is he gonna be able to do this? I'm not convinced.
He's okay. He just needs he needs something to look forward to. So as long as you keep it ready for him, he will have something ready for you. So it's okay.
You see?
It's okay, RT. We just need to go.
I'm gonna get started right now.
The sooner you get
Yeah,
started,
now we're
the sooner you
talking.
get the bourbon.
Right, and then the bourbon will be here.
Oh yeah. The bourbon will be here. We have bourbon, we have vodka, we have all kinds of things.
You got me now, Jake. Right?
He's just staring at you like.
All right. I'll take the silent bit as acquiescence. All right.
I wouldn't.
Right. Okay. So let's see. Dimitri, first things first, let's get this fuel line in. And then we'll start looking at that shielding so we don't just blow up on our way out.
So over the course of the next couple of hours, you're able to start working on these repairs that are needed. Jake leaves, so the two of you are working together on the ship. We'll jump back over to Hayes and Yael. What is it that is going on with the two of you at this point?
I think we'll probably leave Boyle's office with Garcia and maybe just regroup a little before we go do the things we want to talk about. Unless Hayes had something else he wanted to ask Boyles about, because I think Yael's pretty good.
No, you've noticed a definite change in Hayes' demeanor. He is definitely letting you lead this conversation now.
I wonder why. Okay,
Well,
yeah,
then,
so then I guess...
Yeah, what would you like? You want to see the thing?
Yeah.
You want to go see Marcus? How can I be of service as we sort of hopefully get some closure on a bit of this and get back to work here?
Well, I know Corporal Hayes had a few things he wanted to look at, so it's up to him whether or not he wants to accompany me to see this thing. But I would turn to Hayes and I'd be, but can I bring Garcia with me at least?
I think that'd be in order. I'd like to check up on the rest of the team. That sounds very fine to me, sir.
Okay, so Garcia and I will accompany you, Boyle, to see this monolith, and hopefully Lee as well.
Sounds good. Corporal, whatever you need, just let myself or my team know. And, we'll hopefully leave the military response option off the table for now.
Of course.
Yeah.
Very well. All right, well, right this way. And he gets up.
Captain, might I have a word in private for a moment before we go our separate directions?
Sure. Just
By all means.
step out.
So,
What can I help you with, Corporal?
now that I think we understand what's going on around here a little bit better, I'd like to let you know that anything that you need or any support that you require on this mission, I'm here to provide it. Me and my team will act in a professional and secure manner.
I never thought that just a rank would change your attitude so much. But I'd rather maybe you don't, I don't know, whatever this kiss up, kiss ass attitude is, you can drop it, okay?
Permission to speak freely, sir.
Oh, it is so good to hear you call me sir. That is hilarious, actually. But yes, permission to speak freely.
When we are dealing with the folks that are on this rock and finding out information about the mission that you I'm sure on a need-to-know basis, I don't need to know anything other than that. That is fine. You're more than welcome to take the lead and to go ahead and flash that sexy little smile wherever you feel like you need to. But
She vomits. No, just kidding.
but when we're dealing with the men and the security of the four of us getting back off of this rock, especially since there's things around that want to rip us apart and turn us into walking undead bodies, you will defer to my decisions and you will respect my position here. And if you don't, you can ride back in the body bags after I put you down. Sir.
Okay. I think Yael thinks for a second, and she just decides not to respond to any of that and just walk away. Because that's more of an insult to the corporal than it would be to actually deign him with a response.
And I think Hayes
All right,
takes...
Garcia, let's get out of here.
Hayes takes a moment in the room by himself, and he just kind of grits his jaw for a minute, and then he will turn and I'm assuming there's probably a personnel that was left here to escort me to where RT and Dimitri are.
Sure, yeah, there's someone there to meet you as you walk out of the office. Blue jumpsuit, each lacan, and they follow me. We'll take you out to back to the hangar.
And I do. I follow them.
Okay.
As Yael walks away with Garcia, Garcia would see her adding more notes underneath Corporal Hayes's name. She's already started the notes, but she's doing more notes. And this is not to relieve a stress, because we're not stressed right now. But this is just to write down sexy smile ?
Wow. All right.
And she's like, what the fuck was that? How dare he? And she's just like doing that angrily, and so much so that like she's not trying to necessarily hide it. She just wants to like get it in the journal, like fuck him. So I'm guessing Garcia would probably see that.
Yeah, Garcia's trying not to he's trying not to look at you at this point. Like he's just marching down the corridor, following Doyle, and just trying not to make eye contact or engage with you at all right now.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely the right call. She's furious. I'm having a good time.
Awesome.
Yael's very angry.
So we'll there's gonna be a little time dilation here, but the team is working on the ship. The ship is being repaired. Hayes, you're able to link back up with the party, or with RT and Dimitri. And you also notice as you are walking towards the main entry to the hangar where you had been before, you're expecting to see blood and bodies piled up haphazardly. And what you do see is you see Jake, who is loading the bodies onto like what appears to be a gurney. There's no blood in the hallway at all. Each of the bodies appears to be sealed in a airtight, hermetically sealed body bag, essentially. No body is just laying on top of each other as when you saw them before. And it doesn't quite make sense to you as you walk past. I would like you to give me a sanity check as you're like, this does not make any sense.
You got it. Alrighty, so my sanity is a 28, and of course an 83 is much higher than that.
Oof.
You have an advantage.
I do.
If you want.
I'm gonna let it ride. I'm gonna let it stay right there.
Okay. All right, so you do gain a point of stress as you start to sort of question your own recollection of what happened. And you see Jake there, and he kind of nods at you and the other guy as you're walking up.
You need a hand with that?
I mean, it'd be helpful. We're gonna take care of the deceased. Could use some help.
Of course, it's important to do that. You can really tell a lot about people by how they treat their dead. So I'm going to go up and start helping him, and I'll wait like an appropriate amount of time so it doesn't seem like I'm probing him for information. But what I'll do is, after a little bit of time of helping him and doing stuff, I will say, so do you have a lot of information about the mining operations here, Jake?
I've been here for about 6 years, and I'm, as I was mentioned before, I kind of work in between, the staff on the ground, grunts in the field, and, Boyle and his team, who report back to corporate. So I kind of have the luxury of stepping back and forth. But yeah, I've been here for a while. I can do all the jobs on site, and how to take care of things around here, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to get some information figured out about the operation here. Boyle did tell me that your men are using machinery as opposed to hand tools, which is good. I assume you have all the safety precautions in place to make sure there's no cave-ins or any sort of activities that would be stressful.
You hit the nail on the head there, if that's what you're driving at. I mean, the collapse, and he kind of gestures down at the bodies. That's what crushed these. We were able to recover the bodies, and we accounted for everybody.
Right.
But it's a dangerous line of work. Everybody signs up knowing that it's in their contracts. Now there is a, fairly reasonable and appropriate package if there is injury, or if, as in this case, death on the job. And there's no question that the corporation will take care of the families a bit, but still, it's a bitter pill to swallow, that's for sure.
That it is.
Here, help me with this one. Yeah. And he's like got one end of the body bag and up on the gurney.
I'd grab it, and help him get it up there. Well, the reason why I ask is I had asked Boyle about the situation about the stability of the rock here. He had mentioned that there was a lot of break off with the debris in the air caused by some slating, some shifting of the tectonic plates that are down below. So my curiosity would be, are there any areas down below that might have been mined maybe prematurely, or maybe are areas that are not scheduled to be mined? Maybe something that areas that have not been fully surveyed yet?
As you can imagine, with this type of operation, we are very meticulous in our scans of the material before we start to chip away at it. And there was no indication that there would be any sort of fracturing that would allow for something like this catastrophic cave-in that we experienced. Now, the strange thing is we've been working in that cavern, that particular pocket, for better of 2 weeks, getting that, whatever that strange rock is out that Marcus wanted to take up to the lab and take a bit closer look at. And then we had a couple of folks in there, and the damn thing came down just suddenly. Don't know what caused it. Our scans didn't show any sort of shifting prior to the collapse, so not quite sure what happened there.
The timing is a bit coincidental, though.
Agreed.
To look into for sure. We'll keep an eye on it, I suppose. The operation here seems to be pretty well thought out. I commend you and your men for what you're doing here. The shipment, I assume, is going to be put together okay.
If we can get the boys back to work, there's been a big downturn in productivity. I don't know if Boyle told you much about that.
Of course. The sometimes though it helps people when they get back into the swing of things to understand maybe how they, remember what things were like. Maybe if you space them out in a way where their operations are maybe going to take them not near the site, but in other areas that might be a little bit more of a, how do I say it, let them coast for a little bit, some easier workload for a little bit, so that they can get back to work and be distracted, but also not have to be basking in the past.
Look, I'm going to be totally blunt with you. And he looks over at the other worker that's with you guys loading. He's like, here, help me with this, Hayes. And he's got one end of the gurney, and you're like pushing. He's like, we'll take this to the incinerator. And he's like, let's go. I'll tell you, I got a couple things to say. He's like, look, I'm going to be honest with you. As you're walking down the hall, pushing this gurney, it's got 3 bodies on it. Some of the folks are just damn scared. They think there's a connection between whatever Marcus was looking into, the collapse. Some folks have been acting weird, the violence, the outbursts. People have been talking about whispers they've been hearing. People walking around like they're in a daze. You know, it's been strange, and I think people are just worried that whatever it was that we pulled out of there should be put back or taken off this rock and just be done with it. I think that's what Boyle's hoping, is that we'll get rid of this thing and get back to work. I don't think putting it back in there is going to work since the goddamn cavern collapsed. It would take us 2-3 months just to clear that out. And as you can imagine with the fraction, oh, here we go. Hold on. We're here with the fracturing. And he hits the panel and opens up a door and you wheel it in there. It just seems like, best thing to do is to get that damn rock off this asteroid, be done with it. Maybe then we can get back to work. People will chill out, relax a little bit.
Right. The doctor on my team will decide if we need to take that off planet or not, but the folks here, you know, they have a reason to be scared. It's understandable. These kind of things are pretty emotionally trying, and it is hard to kind of, like I said, just move on from that. But
sure is.
I can tell that you're a guy who's got a good head on his shoulders, so I'll be frank with you too, and I'll let you know that we saw something when we came down here, a little bit more extreme than the crawlers. I'm a little bit interested in if anybody else has seen anything else. I suspect there might be a gas leak or something that's making people maybe not think straight. It could lead to the depression as well.
I don't know. I mean, people are talking about hearing things, but seeing things, I'm not sure. Hold on. And he hits the panel and you can see that there's this this tray that comes out of the console and you can feel the heat of the incinerator behind it. And he's like, here we go. Let's get this one up. He doesn't even look, he doesn't look at the name on that's typed on. There's like a name panel with like information, a barcode and things. He doesn't even look at it. And you can see him kind of taking a breather for a moment as the tray starts to recede into the incinerator. And it's at that moment when you start to hear like weeping coming from the bag as it's going into the space. And I need you to make a fear save.
Oh boy. Alrighty. Well, that is a 9, which is well under my current 45.
Okay. All right. When you're rolling, will you roll? I think you're rolling 2 100 dice.
Am I?
I think so. It looked like a 0-9 and a 0-0. So okay. Make sure you roll the double digit and the single digit 10.
Yeah, that's why I thought I loaded them both like that. But that one's a 2.
Yep.
That one is a double.
Yep, that's a 2. So you're fine. Yep. That's a really cool looking set of dice you got there. Very cool. Yeah. You hear this weeping as the first bag goes in, and you look over at Jake, and Jake doesn't seem to have any notice of it.
Great. Great. I just stand there.
You all right?
Of course, I just having a moment of silence for the deceased.
Yeah, this is shit work.
Yeah.
Well, let's get this next one up. Pulls the next body.
And I go right back to it. And I mean, I hear it in the back of my mind, and I definitely know that it's going on, but I just steel myself against it. I've heard people weep, and I've heard sounds of death before, especially at that last mission I was on that brought me to the attention of Green Star. So I have a bit of a flashback to that. And I look to my hand, those scars on the back of my knuckles, and just grit my teeth, and I help him lift the next body.
And one by one, you feed the bodies into the incinerator, sort of pushing down that fear or whatever it was that sort of started to bubble up a little bit from that first body. And you go about your business. You're able to go back to gather more bodies to help Jake out. Meanwhile, the repairs of the ship are going very well. You're getting the ship repaired. And it's at this point now where you have an opportunity to make a decision on what you want to do next. If you want to try to work on the comms array, or something else. You do not know where the rest of your crew is at this time, but you know that the two of you are in the cargo hangar with your ship.
Will she fly?
Yeah, I think she'll be all right. My biggest worry is if that drop in power happens again on the way up. It may not give us enough time to pull out of it. But maybe I'm just overthinking it. I don't know. But as far as systems go, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, once we find out, maybe we could find out why that happened. Maybe there was something here on the station. So let's go fix the comms. That's the reason why we came here, and then we could figure that out once we get that solved.
Okay, so I can take care of the comms. Don't worry about that. You got to go find your Jennifer, right? So, I mean, I had him highlight the vents for you, just to help. But I think if you just want to go look for her, you can. I don't want to put any more stress on you. You were pretty shaken, so I'm not.
I do not know if she will still be in the vents, but I think we just keep an eye out in case we hear anything from above us or from the side of us. Looking at the schematic, she could be anywhere.
Yeah. And that vent system, something crazy.
This is the moment where you're also looking at the schematics and you realize that the communications transmitter, the beacon itself, is not connected to the facility. It's actually out about, it's hard to tell on the schematics, but it's on a high point outside the main facility. So you'd have to go outside to get to it.
Is there like a...
So not Samuel L. Jacksoning this.
Yeah. There are tracked vehicles inside the place, and you're guessing that those are the types of vehicles that they use because there's really not a lot of gravity on this rock as it's hurtling through space, but the tracked vehicles have technology that allows them to sort of dig into the surface as they go and hold them, stable to the ground, so to speak. There is some gravitational pull, but not a whole lot. Then you probably noticed that when you saw these creatures like kind of lunging forward earlier when you first landed. They got a pretty good jump on them. But you do notice that there's a line that goes out. There is a conduit that goes from the facility. So this is another option that you could go through that service tunnel that goes from the main facility to the beacon. So there's kind of two options there.
How large is the tunnel?
It looks like you could walk through it, but it's not big enough to drive anything through it. It's basically like a service. It's a little bit bigger than the vents that you were in before. You'd be able to walk upright.
But if we were to go on the using, I guess, above ground, we would have to have our vac suits, I'm assuming.
Yep. Yeah. You'd have to have vac suits on, and then you'd be inside these tracked vehicles.
Well,
to get there.
If it's just a conduit, would that mean that there's no, like, we would still need our vac suits to go to this?
Yep. They don't maintain habitat inside the service tunnel that goes out to the beacon.
Yeah. So even no matter what, getting to the beacon requires the suits. But I'm game to try underground before I'm looking to overground.
I can go with you. Make sure you're okay.
You sure?
Oh yeah, it'll be fine. Besides, the ship is repaired. I know how to return. I think Corporal Hayes has it covered.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that this is our primary goal, that we accomplish this. And besides, if you run into trouble, I'll be there. I have your back.
But you do have that shotgun. Yes.
Yes.
True. All right, you convinced me.
We waste time. Come, let us go.
Yeah, let's hit. Oh, before we go, 1 sec, real quick. He's gonna go raid the tools.
Yeah, absolutely. They have some portable tool kits that you can take with you. Like
Sure.
it's got a backpack kind of harness that you can throw on your shoulders, and
Yeah,
that's probably
he'll
what
put
you
one
would
on him
take.
and put one on Dimitri.
RT, when we get back,
Yeah.
Dimitri points to his shoulder, where there's a patch of a beautiful pinup girl on a rocket, and then points to the ship, and then points to RT's spray paint can. Do you think if we have time, we can make improvements?
Oh.
Something to look forward to when we get back.
He gives your patch like a really close look. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, it is good.
We'll
When we
probably
get
get
back,
fined, but I
That
like
is
it.
how we will celebrate.
All right, sounds good.
So the two of you are going to, let me make sure I understand. You're going to take the service passage under the underground, basically, to get to the comms beacon. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
As you are kind of getting things ready, you would have to go back through the facility. So that might be a point where you would run back into Hayes.
Okay.
As Hayes is helping Johnson. And you might have, I don't know if you have questions, you've got the schematics. You've worked on these types of things before, RT, but you have an opportunity to sort of fill Hayes in on what your plan is at this point.
Yeah. Well, Hayes, Dimitri and I are gonna go do a little walking. There's a service tunnel out to the beacon. I'll see what these jackwipes let happen to their comm systems, and I'll fix if and when there's enough to fix. Mostly, I'm pretty sure there's probably some of those crawlers outside, so I'm looking to stay where they're not.
Right. Yeah.
So, just in the off chance, he'll lean forward and secure channel to Hayes and whisper again, because he doesn't get how comms work. You just keep your eye on this Jake fella. He's got like no whatsoever sense of humor, and I think he's a teetotaler, and it's hard to trust people who won't test the dog every now and then. You know what I mean?
You look over and you see Jake just standing there.
I'll keep an eye on him.
Okay, all right. Just watch your back. Make sure you're not in one of those bags going into the incinerator.
Yeah, you too. Hey, and I'll look around. You guys all right? This is some crazy shit we've seen since we got down here.
I mean, I haven't seen much except for the BODIES's when they were pulling on the doc's hair.
Right.
That was crazy, but
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
yeah.
I agree. I put a hand on his shoulder. I'm like, listen. Seriously though, are you guys okay? And I'll look to Dimitri as well.
Well, I'm chill.
We're fine.
Well, all right. Well, you both around. for getting you involved in all this mess.
You think you could get Jake to get you some of that bourbon from Boyle's
We
place?
need to go. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you
Right.
very much. We have a job to do. So
Good
I know
luck.
you guys are having a moment here, but are they going to be okay? You guys,
I trust
Everything's
these two.
a-okay.
Yeah, I trust these two
Jakey boy.
implicitly.
it will be fine.
There's no better men you want on this job, trust me.
I will
He
have to
doesn't.
trust you.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Oh, to Dimitri, and I'll just do that salute that we had done in the office. I'll do it again.
As they walk away, Jake just kind of turns to you, Hayes. What is it exactly that you guys... What happened when you guys got here? You seem shaken up. I mean, you almost crashed, I get it, but...
Well, I don't want to say anything in front of Boyle, but we ran out of weed. But we'll be okay, I think.
Hmm.
And I'll just give a wink to Dimitri and RT. Some inside joke we play on people.
Okay, funny. Yeah. Okay. And he just goes back. Help me with this one.
Of course.
Now, meanwhile, Yael, you are, remind us where you are headed. You had asked to see something in particular. What was that?
I think we were talking about seeing this monolith, but we were also talking about seeing Lee. So I think, is the captain going with them out there or no? Or sorry, the corporal. I'm the captain.
Yeah, what is Corporal Hayes doing?
No, Hayes was going to stay
He's-
here on the base.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then maybe Yael will, having heard that like people go mad when they see this thing, she might want to see Lee first and then go out to see the rock. Unless there's like a specific reason that Boyle wants us to go out there first. I think that
Yeah,
she'd
Boyle is
prefer to stay
basically...
inside.
Boyle wants to help you out whatever you need to see. So what you do know is that Marcus Lee, the geologist, is in the infirmary. And then you know that this rock that they recovered, what has been referred to as a monolith, has been brought into a laboratory in the facility.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and it's basically in Marcus's laboratory, for lack of a better term, where he would do studies on some of the mineral content of the mine materials that are being taken out of the mine, that sort of thing.
Okay. Do I get a sense of like urgency to see that, or do I think, seeing Lee is probably a good idea? I guess I'm struggling
Probably
which direction
Lee.
to
I
go
think
here.
like given sort of your mission or like what your directive from corporate was to connect with Lee. So it seems like you would
Yeah.
be most concerned about sort of figuring what's up with Lee.
Okay. Yeah. So then I would ask him to take us to the infirmary. And I think as we were walking, I would probably check in with Garcia. Maybe like hang back a little bit from Boyle and just be like, "You doing okay, shoulder?"
My head's killing me. I gotta admit, keep hearing things. It's not constant.
My
but
head's killing me
it's like
too.
it's like a pulse, like a voice that I can't quite. I don't know. We're all a little stressed. It's just stress. I'm sure it's nothing.
It's not just you. I heard whispers. I felt that thing grab me by the hair. I mean, something weird is going on. So I want you to trust your instincts. Okay?
Yeah, of course. I've got your back. Eyes on.
No, I know you've got my back. I'm saying I want you to listen to what you hear and trust that what you're hearing is happening. I don't want you to think that you're crazy, because it is happening, whether that guy is admitting that's happening or not.
I had a clean psyche val before we left Helvetia, so I'm ship shape.
Too. Let's see what everything is going on with this comatose guy.
Copy that. And you continue on down the hallway, eventually passing by other individuals in blue jumpsuits that are bustling about. You're getting now into more of a more populated area, and you can see that nobody really talks to Boyle. They sort of like, or if they do, it's like they're whispering to each other about something, or, you know, you can hear him maybe a couple of curses here and there. He doesn't seem to be obviously well liked by the rank and file mining workers in this facility, at least right now. And, you know, each time they go by, they kind of nod to the two of you, you and Garcia, and they kind of tap their patch that's on their blue jumpsuit. And eventually you make your way into the infirmary, and the doors open up and you walk in, and it's very brightly lit, stark white instrumentation around the walls. There are a number of these sort of biopods, and in one of them, there's nobody else in any of them except for in one of them, you see this older individual, probably in their mid 60s, sort of tousled white hair, white beard, well maintained and groomed, and mustache, laying in a sort of a white gown, and there's instrumentation attached to his head. There's a sort of a breather that's inserted into his mouth and over his nose, as you might expect in like an emergency room sort of situation. But there is a heart rate monitor and blood pressure, and all of that instrumentation is like right next to him. And he seems to be, from your quick glance and your knowledge, you can see that he appears to be stable but unresponsive as you look upon him. And he's been like this for how long has it been? And one of the other staff that's in this infirmary is like, it's been 10 days. I don't know if there's much we can do for him, or if we can transport him off the rock. He's not on life support. I mean, he seems to be stable, but we're just taking precautions because he's not responsive.
Can I try to look, is there like a chart or something that has like more detailed readings and test results and things like that? Absolutely.
Yep. It's all digital. So if you ask for it, they can show it to you.
Yeah,
And
I would ask.
They like swipe on an instrument panel, and it kind of like pops up in 3 dimensions, like in front of you.
Okay.
And you can see that it has like, you know, his blood chemistry work that they've been doing on a regular basis. It's got the history of his like EKGs and different tests they've run on him that all indicate that there's really doesn't appear to be anything. There's no like definite ailment that you can pinpoint, and they're completely confused at it too. He was working in his lab, and then we were notified that we needed to respond, and he was like this.
Do you know if he's been experiencing any symptoms of any kind since you guys found this thing?
His last medical evaluation was what? Let me look here. It looks like it was 65 days ago. Seemed fine.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'd like to, like, if there's a way to like delve more into like maybe if there's, you know, his potassium levels are like unusually high, or like something like that wouldn't be fatal or anything like that. But I would want to like really dig into that data and see if there's something that stands out.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you have medical training, right? One of your skills is, what do you have for
field medicine?
Field medicine
is, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You don't need to roll.
Okay.
You look at the charts, you look at the detailed information, and you can see that he has, it looks to be as though he has some heart disease, possibly. He is pre-diabetic, but there's nothing really that he seems pretty healthy. He's on a couple of medications to manage some of those things, but there's nothing strange. It just seems like it's almost like he's sleeping.
Okay. Have they done any brain scans to indicate like if he's dreaming or REM cycles or anything like that? If it is more like he's sleeping?
They haven't. As you asked that question, one of the medical staff looks at you and says, "We haven't done anything like that. We have run we have run a couple of tests. Brainwave patterns seem normal, but we haven't looked at specifics related to REM or dreams or anything like that. Do you think he's?
Yeah, give me. I'd want more of a more in-depth neurological scan to see whether or not, you know, something's going on in his brain that's causing him in the sleep state.
We can certainly run another battery of tests. If you want to come back in, 20, 30 minutes, we could have that worked up for you.
Sure. Yeah, I think we could do that. I'd look at Garcia and I'd nod that maybe it's good that we tag back up with the others so that we're not out here on our own.
Boyle looks at you. Did you want to take a look at his office or the rock, or is there? I mean,
sure. The office would be nice. Do you know if he kept a journal or anything? Something that might
meticulous
give us
note-taker.
indication. Okay. Yeah, maybe we get some indication of where his headspace was that day or the days leading up to it. Might help us see if something was going on that maybe he didn't go to med bay to get checked out.
I mean, absolutely. I can show you.
Is there
show you
anything
to his lab.
Okay. Do I see anything else in here that I want to kind of check out, or is it because he's the only one in here, right?
He's the only one that's in one of the biopods. There are a couple of technicians that are working in the space, but there are no other injured people or sick people in the infirmary. It's like a one room sort of laboratory, very stark. It's not like a place where you would come and if you had a cough or had the flu or something, you'd probably be quarantined in your chamber, in your quarters. This is more for injuries and severe problems.
Okay. I thought Boyle said something about the infirmary being full. Is that?
I don't think
Instead
so.
of full infirmary, I think he meant it's fully stocked.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
exactly.
Oh,
I see.
That's what I meant.
I was expecting full as in with people who were injured in the accident or something.
Yeah, I think he was responding because you had kind of asked if there was a medical facility, and he's like, yeah, we have a full infirmary, full facility.
Sorry,
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So this shows me also that everybody just died in the accident. There were no injuries. Everybody was gone. So that's pretty interesting too, that there was no one that was injured and rescued. Okay. I think she would move on to the office.
Okay. So you make your way farther, deeper into the hallways of this facility. Again, people sort of passing by and not really engaging with you, kind of getting the sense that you're corporate, which, for all intents and purposes, you really are. And you're with Boyle, working your way into the laboratory space where Marcus Lee, the geologist, had been working on this monolith. And you walk into the space, the doors open and the lights automatically flicker on. And you can see right away at the center of the space, there is this large rock, sort of almost looking like a tablet in a way. It is about 8 feet tall, and it's not perfectly shaped. It's sort of irregularly shaped, but it's about 8 feet tall, about 4 feet wide, and it has a series of strange markings on it that are like nothing that you've ever seen before. They have sort of almost like cuneiform, possibly, or sort of it's sort of rudimentary, but almost runic sort of patterns on them, but that aren't geometrically symmetric. It doesn't look like a writing of notes or anything. It's just sort of all over this rock. And it's sort of in the middle of the space. It's a large workshop. There are some tables with geology implements, small hammers and chisels and collection tools and brushes and samples of different minerals and ores all over the space. There are charts on the wall. There's a whiteboard with all kinds of writing on it. There's a desk, which presumably is his desk. And I actually have an image in the owl bear that I'll bring up so you can see what this thing looks like. It is, again, a large black, almost like obsidian rock. But you're also standing kind of far away from it. It does have an imposing sort of presence inside this space.
Interesting. Do I hear anything like as we walk into this space, like similar to the bodies, or is this is here, right?
Well, you're looking at it, and Boyle is just kind of like gestures for you and Garcia to walk into the space. He's like, we're not sure what it is. Marcus had said something about it coming from, I don't know, some theories of, well, it seemed insane to me at the time, but that perhaps there was something on this rock before we arrived, maybe a long time before we arrived. I mean, that looks like some sort of a communication. That's not random, is it?
I'm not sure. I'll have to take a closer look, although I'm hesitant considering that that Lee was in here and then he passed out. So let's just be really cautious as we enter this space.
I mean, I would like to see this thing taken off of the space. I would not, or destroyed or something. Now I know corporate wants it, but look, what happens between here and Helvetios is up to you. I just want this thing off and out of our facility so we can get back to work.
Sure, I will take that into consideration, but I also have the safety of our crew.
Understood.
I can't promise anything. I need to take a closer look.
Well, by all means, I mean, he's got some notes here. He wasn't the most organized, as you can see, and you look over at his desk and there's papers strewn about.
I think I'd take some time to start going through the papers before I get up close and like personal with this thing.
Okay. Yeah, you start to look around, and the closer you get to this rock, the more imposing it sort of feels. You can feel it, like its presence in the room, but you don't hear any of the whispers that you had heard before. It doesn't seem like there's anything weird happening. You look about the papers and the writings and the whiteboard, and you start to see that there are some notes. You can see some notes that relate to maybe something recently written. There are memories that lay buried within geophysical structures from distant geological epochs that can, at times of great opportunity, arise from dormancy to seek their inherent purpose, to multiply, colonize, expand their influence on the universe. And you can see some notation to a Hutton, Hutton, who you probably wouldn't know who that is, but there are some other writings to the effect of that this is something intensely important, that Dr. Marcus Lee was extremely excited about its discovery. He describes it as a solid block of black, mirror smooth obsidian-like material, which you can obviously see sort of looming behind you. It seems to have a molecular structure that's different than the parent material of Tenebris 979. Perhaps he suggests in his notes that it could be of extraterrestrial origin. He is very curious about the glyph work and if perhaps it could be interpreted by experts in linguistics or self-ontology or something of that nature. He also identifies a strange property that the surface of this thing has when you shine light on it, that it seems to almost glitter or the surface seems to almost vibrate. He calls it a mysterious and awe-inspiring discovery. You can see that written in his notes. And there's notes all over the place. You do see a journal as well that has information if you page through it. I don't know if you grab it or not. I guess I should ask you if you grab the journal, and you just kind of open it up and you can see that it's from it covers a long period of time even before this thing was found. So it would take you can kind of page to the last page to look. And it just has the date and investigating monolith, and then nothing else for that date is written. And you might assume that was the date that he fell ill.
Yeah. And that date is 10 days ago?
Yes.
Okay. Just double checking that what this guy's saying is actually lining up with what's happening, because
it does appear as though it's lining up with what he's told you thus far. Do you see anything in the notes, Doctor, that might be helpful?
Helpful in terms of why it's making people crazy? No.
You think it's so you think it's this as well? I mean, I
don't think that necessarily. I'm just.
I mean, it could be. I'm not a scientist, but it sure is a strange coincidence.
Sure. Yes. I'm. As a scientist, I need more data before I can come to any conclusions. I don't want to, jump to anything too rashly, but things are very strange here. So I think I would take out, I don't know if I have a flashlight in my loadout. Let me look.
There are lights. He has lights, like flashlights. He has all kinds of tools on his workbench. So you're kind of at his desk, but then there's also a workbench that has all kinds of implements. As I mentioned, like chisels and a flashlight and brushes and sample jars and that kind of thing.
Okay. I think I would, Yael is very hesitant because earlier today, she thought she saw people in need of help and rushed into the situation only for it to be a horrifying nightmare that attacked her and put everyone in danger. So I think that she is approaching this overly cautious because she doesn't want to go running into something again and then get murdered for it. But I do think the note that the rock responds to light differently is very curious, and she thinks, well, that's something I can do from a distance. So I think she's going to try to grab a flashlight and maybe shine it on just a small corner of it to see if it has that glittering effect and what exactly that means.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Easy enough. You grab the flashlight and you get close enough. You probably need to get within a couple feet of it. And it's it's big. Like I said, it's 8 feet tall, sort of this weird, irregular shaped stone tablet-like structure. And you walk up to it and you're kind of looking it up and down, and you turn the flashlight on. And as you shine the light over the surface of that little region of the monolith surface, you can see this glittering movement along the surface. And at that point, you start to see something different. You start to see it sort of the glitter's kind of coming almost off of the surface of this thing. And at that same time, you have this strange what's the word I'm looking for? A sense of smell, right? You get this sense of some sort of spice, some sort of a meal almost. You have this strange recollection, and you kind of close your eyes for a minute, and as you sort of open your eyes, you see this vision of your mother making this meal. And how does that make you feel?
I think seeing her mother in a vision for the first time in many years is very shocking to Yael, but very comforting. And I think she feels very tempted to lean into it in the sense of like being calm and the spice, she smells the spice and it reminds her of her mother's cooking and the things that she used to make from using the herbs that they grew on the ship that they were on. So there's a sense of belonging and warmth that accompanies that, and also of pride, because these are not just the senses of a good meal. It's a meal that was worked on. You had to spend time to grow those herbs and develop that flavor, and then, you know, for her mother, a special recipe which she hasn't had in many years. So I think that a sense of calm comes over her, and she maybe feels less nervous than she did before in this space.
Garcia looks over at you and you're sort of almost lost from me. He's like, is everything okay, doctor?
Yeah. I think I'd turn off the flashlight once Garcia talks to me, almost like snapping out of it. I think possibly this rock has some psychological effects because, well, I just felt really, really good for the first time in many months, which is suspicious because usually I feel like shit. So I
don't feel anything.
Step back and say, "That's all right, Garcia." I think she's gonna sit with it for a minute.
As you step back and you sort of contemplating, you hear Boyle say, "Wait, what are you doing?" And you look back and you see Garcia just kind of walk up and just like put his hand on it.
Can I try to stop him?
It's too late because he's already there. He brushes his hand on the surface. He's like, "I want to feel something."
No.
And as he does, this monolith glows bright as he touches it, and then it's almost as if it implodes that brightness on itself, and the whole facility goes dark with a power surge that knocks out all the power in the whole facility. Everybody's going to take a point of stress as this happens, and I need everybody to take a panic check. Yep. We need a panic. Here, I'm going to do this thing. We have this thing right here.
Panic!
Panic! Where is that thing?
That shakshuka really pulled me in.
Panic!
Panic is that's the one's the D20.
So that's the D20, and you want to roll. I'm going to update your. You guys should be able to do this, no problem.
$17.
Looks like Dimitri's at 4. Right? You want to roll. You don't want to. Yeah, you want to roll anything over the number.
Well, that's a 5.
Okay.
It's over.
That's a 9.
Very nice. Very nice. So you all managed to maintain your cool, but nevertheless, the lights of the facility are knocked out for a moment, and then they come back on. And Garcia is just kind of standing there, and he is still holding on, or has his hand held to the surface. And he just looks back at you, Yael, and he says, "It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful." And that, my friends, is where we're gonna end tonight's session. With Garcia got his hand up, and everybody is in various locations around this facility. The lights have gone down and then come back up. We're gonna find out what that means for each of us next week when we come back.
Garcia!
He was so convinced that it was gonna be a good vibe, and maybe it was. Who knows? Maybe it was.
I mean, it's a good vibe.
You wanted me. You wanted me to touch that thing.
I wanted somebody to touch it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. Evil. I didn't know if Garcia would do it until you described the welcoming feel to it, and then that really compelled him to do it. So, anyways, there we are. thank you, my friends, for playing along with me in this game. You guys are doing great, by the way, with the help of the chat, which has been super awesome.
Thank you, chat.
Wandering endlessly. Thank you for the gift subs and helping out our team here as they reduce their stress. You guys were at like 5 and 6.
Yeah,
So that's pretty
intense.
That's pretty huge. So big shout out to the chat. And if you are liking this game and other games that you see here on Guild Superior, please consider following and supporting our stream, hanging out with us in chat. That's really what we want to see. We get jazzed when we see all of you, all these great people hanging out with us. We've got a lot coming up, which I'm going to tell you about in just a minute. But first of all, I want to give this awesome group of players here an opportunity to tell us who they are, where we can find them, and I don't know, any other thoughts you have about what just happened. And let's go ahead and start with Adrian this time.
Hi, my name is Adrian. I am known onto the interweb with on Twitter and Twitch as @SlySparrow. Come and have conversations with me, and we'll talk about gaming and whatnot. My character was Dimitri the pilot, and I am thinking that we have reached the dark heart of this story, at least a little bit of it. This monolith, I think, is so much of an explanation to what's going on. I wish that Dimitri knew a lot more about this, because he would probably, well, it's probably a good thing. He'd probably be freaking out and try to shoot it with his gun. But so it's probably a good thing he doesn't know about this. But party is split, which is always a good or bad sign, depending on how you look at it. Yeah, and really enjoyed playing with all of you and interacting with the chat. Thank you all for, keeping us going, keeping us on our toes, and really enjoyed the role play and the suspense and the David doing such a fantastic job setting this. I mean, in my head, I'm just picturing this really, really fantastic dark series, and glad to be a part of it. So thank you to all involved. I'm really having a good time.
Thanks, Adrian. I appreciate it. You guys are definitely keeping me on my toes, which is fun. And the sci-fi sort of genre, I think, as you mentioned in last time we played, is like a little different than what we're used to in these games. So it's definitely fun to see where it can go, and learning about how this game's work together has been really fun. So thanks for that. Let's jump over to Tim, my friend Tim.
Hey, I'm Tim. You can find me on Twitter at BlackmoreFlan. I've been playing RT, who is the least lucky in his backstory, but so far is the most lucky amongst the group. Whatever that means for now. Probably means
making friends, making some friends.
Yeah. I think to just echo Adrian, it's just too much fun. The dynamics between the four of us has been great, and I think the lasting shot I think of this episode is one of those post-credit scenes where the lights come back on and RT looks at Dimitri and goes, "I didn't do it."
Shotgun in hand.
It's just too much fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. I love that. Thanks for that, Tim. Let's jump over to Kevin.
Yes, awesome, cool, thank you. I think both these gentlemen have said it perfectly, that this was a blast. I love playing with you guys. This is a great group that we got together here. So much fun. But yes, I'm Kevin, and I'm found online at the socials at Kevran Games. I was the corporal who was now put in his place, maybe, I don't know, by our captain. Yes, Corporal Hayes, who is also reeling with some touch on his backstory too. Mining hits a little bit of a note for him, but that's okay. I love the fact that here we are. I mean, this, like Adrian said, Heart of Darkness is going to be tempting us the rest of this, I think. I think this is merely the beginning of the iceberg that Dave is telling. So I'm excited to see where it goes. But yeah, I had a fun time tonight. I'm also going to be found tomorrow with starting up a new Ovarden game that we are playing. I'm playing in. It's going to be run by Dungeon Master Ty, who is awesome. I'm really looking forward to doing that. So I'm going to be a totally different character than this. You will see. But yeah, I'm the host of the Game Master of the Game My Heroes podcast, which is an audio podcast that is now branching out into streaming. We recently did an arc of Lunatic Eterna, which is a Kickstarter that's currently going on of a cool 5th edition setting. And I'm on Murder Hobo Inc., which is another streaming channel. And there'll be some other stuff too, including next week I'm playing Star Trek Adventures on Wandering Haven Productions. I
Wow.
get to play the first officer, who is really cool. He's a Bajoran who is really against the Prophets and doesn't have time for that nonsense, but it's fun stuff. But yeah, this was awesome. Thank you so very much for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
You're a busy man. That's
yeah.
great.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Love it.
Thanks for spending time with us. I'm super stoked to see how New Varden goes. I played in a run of that recently too. Yeah. It's so fun. So thanks for hanging out and playing games with us, Kev. Last but not least, Rachel, our doctor.
Hey guys, I'm Rachel, Arya Galaxy. You can follow me on Twitter at Carollo_Rachel. I don't know why I can't say my own name. I think I'm just still reeling from Cool Rock. But I have been playing Captain Yael Mishraev, former military, PhD in exobiology. And I really loved getting to show a little bit more of Yael's backstory today, not only in that description, but also with the flashback. I think shout out to Dave for really having us flesh out like some crucial moments in the past of our characters and then bringing those to light in such an interesting way. The moment he said spice, I knew exactly what he was going for. And I have noticed a few other moments like that with the other characters. So brilliant storytelling. I'm so excited to be playing this with all of you. And I had a blast. I'm terrified. And I think that's what we're going for. So
that is
thank you
music
so
to my
much,
ears.
and can't wait for next week.
Awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. Of course, I'm Dave. I play games, produce games, run games here in Guild Superior with an awesome group of people. So lucky to be able to do this. As I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, one of the things that I really enjoy about this is being able to connect with people. And we are definitely connecting over games, and it's really important more now than ever. So I highly encourage you to get involved in gaming. If you've been thinking about joining a group or looking for people to play with, I'm going to put our Discord link back in the chat. We've got a lot of great people who would welcome you into our community, and hopefully you'll be able to play some games with us in the future. So games are what we need more of, more play, I think, in general. So thank you for that. We're going to go ahead and raid into our friend Darling Creepshow. Really appreciate everybody for hanging out. Again, we've had a lot of fun here tonight, and we will be back again tomorrow. New Varden with Dungeon Mr. Ty and a great cast of people. Tuesday, Heroes of Greyhawk with me and a bunch of great people. A lot of good people around here. And then we'll be back on Thursday with The Wreckage of Stars, a new Shadesong saga with Bleak Season running that game. Lots going on. We hope you'll hang out and with us on those games as well. We'll see you next time. Adios.